I gotta tell you, I don't really feel super inspired to talk right now, but I just feel like I want to, kind of, but I'm not really sure what to talk about. I thought about maybe talking about aspects of like the maybe the really strange stuff, the things that there's a lot of there's so much stuff that doesn't add up. I mean, there's a lot of strange videos and stuff and things on TV. I mean, I've seen so many things, and I've seen a lot of the things I've seen on live television and stuff. Um, some things I've seen a whole lot of really strange stuff in person. God, I don't know. There's so many different aspects of just really weird stuff that doesn't add up. Doesn't make a lot of sense. Like if this is a normal. If this was some kind of normal physical world, I mean, the, what do I even talk? I don't know. I could give you some links to look up. I could tell you. I guess I'll go with like things that you can look up and see for yourself that most people just don't know about. Of course, this is not stuff from my personal life. I've talked about a lot of that, but things you could look up and find videos of. Try looking up ghost caught on tape or demon caught on tape, or, angel caught on tape, whatever, right? Or teleportation caught on tape. Uh, Dog teleports. Car appears out of nowhere. Uh, Car mysteriously levitates. Uh, or look up. I want to see something interesting that most people, strangely enough, most people didn't even notice this or still don't know about it. But like, look up rubber mask Biden, rubber mask Fauci. Yeah, and these aren't fake videos. This I saw, or you know what? There's so many. One thing I've seen a lot, quite a few times on live television, is this slit pupils. What people call reptilians or something. You see that a lot. I've seen it on live television. I've seen it on streaming podcasts and things like that. I've seen it on people's YouTube channels. There's sometimes I've seen it with people that I've actually listened to and was like a fan of their content and stuff. But then one day you'll be watching them talk about something and you'll be like, "What the hell? Dude's got slit freaking pupils," Yeah. There was one where Richie from Boston had fucking slit pupils. You could see through. You know, he was talking. I don't remember what that was years ago. I wouldn't. I couldn't remember. I can't remember what video it was. He was wearing glasses, but I mean, yeah, just his eyes switched to where like slit pupils, man. I don't know what that was about. Like, I don't know what that's about, really. A lot of people talk about reptilians or whatever. You'll see people shift, and it's not just the eyes. A lot of times you'll see, like, somebody be talking. There's other things you see on video where people's teeth change from, like, human teeth to, like, these, teeth like daggers. You know? It's kind of like the teeth of, or what were those things called on Supernatural? The, Leviathan? Yeah. How they have these, like, dagger teeth, you know? It's kind of like, look like that. There's a lot of pictures and videos where you can see that. Like, start looking up, like, if you look into, like, the reptilian stuff, you'll see using that word because that's what people call it, you know? There's a lot of videos, a lot of pictures, and I've seen the shit on live TV. I've seen, you know, when the news clip comes on TV or something. See, I remember there was one they were interviewing some, I don't know, police chief or police captain from somewhere in the state, and I had the slit pupils. Well, they're not really slit. If you pay close attention, mostly they're kind of like a sliver moon. There's a bit of a curve to it, so it's not exactly like a reptile or snake or something. There's like a bit of a curve to it, like a sliver moon or something, you know. Yeah, I don't know. I gotta say it's freaking weird though, right? I don't know. I've seen some really strange shit. I did have a number of pictures and stuff, but you know, over the years, I've had hard drives crash. I've had my computers get so messed up that I couldn't even get them to, you know, give me blue screen of death or something, and I end up having to, or you know, just starts lagging to where you can't even use it. So I end up having to just wipe the hard drive and start over. So I might have some of the pictures on my PC, my external hard drive. I can't even. Very rarely am I able to access anything on it. If I ever get it to get access to it for even a moment, I just start trying to drag stuff over to a laptop or something, you know, copy whatever I can before it stops working. Uh, there's this one dude channel, I don't know, there's a number of channels of people that really seem to be kind of on the similar page, so like this, the type of experiences and understanding of things that I have. Not saying we necessarily would agree about everything, but like, this dude with the Green Wizard channel or whatever he talks about. He made some comment in one of his videos where he said something about these like bug aliens or something. And I'd like to hear more about that. Like, I would be interested to hear more about that because I've seen some of these things that kind of look like a like, yeah, a little bit like, yeah, there's these things that, what I've seen in some videos and some photos and stuff. Uh, I remember there was this dude on MySpace. This is years ago, back when MySpace was a thing. I was looking through some people's photos and stuff, right? And I would see photos where you could tell someone was like full on demon possessed. Their face transformed. Sometimes that would show up on in photos and stuff like that. And then you'd find them both pentagrams and all this other you know. And then there's this one dude that I I thought he seemed like a good dude or whatever. But I looked at one of his photos that just popped up in my feed or whatever, right? And I click on the damn thing. I wish I would have downloaded it. I think what I did at the time was I just took a picture of it with my phone, just like a crappy phone, little crappy old flip phone at the time. And so I had that somewhere, but what it showed, he was standing kind of in front of, I don't know, some reflective surface. I don't remember what it was. It wasn't exactly a mirror, it was some glass on a wall at a school or something. But you could see him in the reflection, and behind him, you could see very clear outline. I mean, to the point where you could see the teeth, you could see the features and details of this thing, and it looked like some kind of bug that like had its arms or something like in his neck or in his back or something. I don't know, like, yeah. And I've seen videos of things like that. There's these things that like seems like they get up behind people, basically invisible, and just kind of puppet them, influence or puppet them like somehow, like I don't know, like they walk around behind a person and just like, I don't know, take over their body or their mind. I don't know what the hell. Yeah, I know that sounds fucking totally nuts. I get that, but I'm just saying I've seen photos of where this wasn't some kind of thing that somebody was trying to CGI or fake. It's like people don't even notice the shit until you point it out to them. Like I'm sure I probably got that picture somewhere, but I fucking dig through a lot of stuff to try to find it. I don't know, it's honestly kind of scary talking about some of this stuff because I don't want to get like attacked, I don't want to get messed with anymore. But it just, I don't know if it's ever gonna change. Like if I'm ever gonna be able to get my life straightened out in a world like this. And I've had very strange experiences, and it sounds nuts, but I have seen very, very strange things here. Some things I've never even heard anyone else talk about. I've just experienced some things that I've seen some things that, like, if I was to look it up on the internet to see if anyone else had experienced it, like, I probably wouldn't even find anybody. Like, I've never heard anyone talk about. I don't even know what to call them. I guess a common term would be albino or whatever. If you wanted to, but there's Now those scare the out of me, honestly. Yeah. Uh, yeah. I'm not talking about just like people who have. I'm talking about there's organized groups. I was riding in the car with this guy Bill one day, and he drove past. He drove past the 7-Eleven down this side street going over toward. And never mind. Yeah. Anyways, so one of the streets that we were approaching, off to the side, there was a group of uh, I don't know who they were, what they were. They were dressed in some kind of, I don't know, like military gear. They all had ski masks and helmets and 308 caliber rifles, some kind of foreign type. You know, I don't remember what kind of rifle it was, maybe an FAL or CET. I mean, I don't remember. I don't remember. Might have been an FAL or something, but it was foreign. A foreign type of rifle that's not standard issued to anyone. I don't know who the heck they were. There was a helicopter going overhead, and there was like, must have been about 20 of these dudes in like military type formation, and every single one of them looked like an albino from what you could see, you know. I mean, they were wearing ski masks, so you couldn't see that much, but you could see enough to tell that they were all like albino, basically. I don't know, like fucking vampires or something. Like my own term that I have, I don't really talk about it. I call them, like, just to myself, I kind of basically would refer to them as the pale soldiers. I don't know. I probably shouldn't even talk about that. They scare the fucking shit out of me. Yeah. Dude, from what I've seen, from what I have seen involving those types, I don't know who they are, what they are, but they look pretty fucking terrifying, I'll tell you that. Yeah. Whoever the hell they were after, I don't want to be that. I don't want to be them. Yeah. I don't know who they were going after or what the hell, but that was fucking. I don't know what the hell that was. That was. I don't know. I've had all kinds of really weird experiences though. Like that didn't even make sense. Like, I'll tell you honestly, I think that there's no way that this is like a real physical realm. It's got to be some type of a weird ass computer simulation or something, because there's so many things here that just don't make sense and that are very, very, very strange. Uh, you know, I mean, it's either computer simulation or it's like it would have to be either that or like, you know, some kind of sorcery, magic, you know, god level shit that is beyond anyone's comprehension, you know? Like something that can alter the fabric of reality, like, just like that, you know? More time and space, you know? I don't know, dude. And then there's like shifters. Yeah, there's shifters. There's also these little short beings that they kind of look like a little bit like the the Greys or whatever, but they're more translucent, and I haven't seen much of them. I've seen like outlines and stuff like that, and I had a dream about them when I was a kid, and one time years later I saw like these shadows moving around the yard. Yeah, I saw this another thing, I saw this thing on the surveillance. I used to see some weird shit show up on the surveillance camera. uh, Sadly the cameras, record over themselves, and I didn't really know how to fucking recover the footage. I think I took some photos, and I probably have them somewhere on my old computer or something. But there was this thing. I would have liked to have had the video, because you could see just this dark figure. Because my cameras have night vision, so infrared night vision, and you can see this like dark figure. I looked out the window too, and I could see I could see this thing. It was just this like dark shadow that had thing was tall when it was standing. It must have been, I don't know, 7 foot something, and it had like, I don't know, goblin like ears or something. And this thing, it just walked up to my raised bed garden, and it sat down on the ground beside the raised bed garden. Must have been snacking on something or whatever. This neighbor cat comes up and just runs into my yard, and I see this neighbor cat just run right up to it and starts like playing with it, and this thing's petting the neighbor cat, sitting there eating out of the garden. Yeah. And another experience one time, I did have lots of pictures of a lot of this stuff. They're probably on my old computer. Some of the stuff that I saw, a lot of the stuff I saw, I didn't even have pictures of, because like I was just like, whoa. It's just the thought didn't cross my mind to pull out a camera, or things happen so fast that I, didn't have time to pull one out. You ever see the faces that appear in something? These things sometimes would kind of show themselves to me to an extent, these faces and stuff. I'd sit out on this back porch near these trees out behind, right? And when I was sitting out there, sometimes I would see these things. It looked like faces on the tree, and I would take pictures of them and stuff. And I know I had numerous pictures, but look, obviously logically it would make sense that sure, there could be some shape that looks like a face on a tree. Why not? But here's the thing though, and somewhere I do have pictures, probably my old computer in storage, but here's the thing. They weren't always the same faces. It would be one face, and then it would switch to another face, and another face, and another face, and another, and another, and another, and another, and so on and so forth. And I mean, this happened numerous times. I would sit out there, and sometimes I'd sit out there and I'd be drinking, and I'd start trying to talk to the thing, like, hey, why don't you talk to me? Come on, say something. What's up? Who are you? And I said, I saw some I noticed some kind of movement up in the tree in the branches one time, and I said, "I see you. Not fooling anyone." And this fucking thing looked like, I don't know, a humanoid shape. Just the branch started shaking. This thing come like running down the tree branch, and it showed itself to me basically. But just a dark. It was just like a dark shadow figure. It's like it. It's like it ran down the branch, made itself more visible, and like a shadow figure, and then ran back up and disappeared. Like, whoa, you know. So, this is some stuff that I normally wouldn't even talk about because it's so fucking weird and it sounds nuts. And uh, I don't know, most people haven't had these sorts of experiences, or they sure as hell wouldn't have guts to talk about them. But this is just some of the stuff. I mean, I've had so many fucking weird experiences, like you wouldn't fucking believe it. Like I've had quite a few UFO sightings, as well. Oh yeah, shit. I'd like to find some of the pictures I took of this. I had this sliding glass door in my bedroom, and outside of that was the porch that I'd made. Kind of a little gym that I set up back there, and those trees that I'm talking about right out there. Got a hummingbird feeder and all that. Anyways, I hung up this green blanket, and that blanket it just started to fall apart. I don't know. It's like made out of some kind of netting with some kind of like fuzzy fabric, but it just kind of started falling up. Anyways, so here's what happens to this blanket. It's and there's actually numerous things having to do with that curtain that I made there. But okay, so first this fabric starts falling off and like creating basically like this hole in the blanket where there's just this netting, right? And it falls off, and pretty quickly it started to look like the devil, like a devil, face, shaped like a head with horns and all that. I was like, whoa. At first, I thought it looked kind of like Batman or something, but then I was like, no. It kept falling out till it kind of looked like the devil, And that was weird, right? But then more stuff started falling off up above that, and it fell out in the shape of an angel standing above the head of the devil. Yeah, I'm not kidding, dude. That's just yeah. And I had other things that I've seen, I have photos of this stuff. I'm sure, probably on my computer, but my PC is in storage. My external hard drive is fucking. I don't know. I can't get it to work right. I've tried. I used a new data cable, but that doesn't seem to help. I don't know if there's something wrong with the data port or what the heck, but I lost some stuff that I had on a laptop because the laptop froze up and I couldn't even use it. So I just got rid of, Windows 7 that was on there. I had to wipe everything out just to get it to work. Installed Linux. Okay, so besides that, having to do with this curtain that I had, eventually I took down the blanket that was falling apart. It just kept more and more of it kept falling apart. I took that down, replaced it with this like same color but green fabric instead of that, so it wouldn't fall apart, right? And, I used, I think, like a large bed sheet or something. Yeah. Anyways, so I would see these sometimes these things would like press up against it, like, and I'll tell you, you can get pictures, you can get photos of some of the things that are around us with see, I vape, and I started to accidentally get pictures of things. I'd see things show up in the pictures in the cloud vape clouds, and I also had like the first time I saw that I accidentally took a picture of this thing. I was just trying to take a picture of this tree and the river back behind it, and I looked at the picture, and actually this girl pointed out, "Oh, do you see that?" Like, "Oh, whoa, I didn't see that," And there's this like, it's like a person, shape of a person standing in this like fog that was beside the tree. Yeah. And there's lots of pictures like that you can find all over the internet, and yeah, just look up face in fog, face in smoke. I mean, dude, there's faces all over the place and all kinds of things. Like, look at the. I mean, you can go look at. I can give you some examples of pictures to look at. Look at especially if you can find them colorized, but it doesn't really matter. Look up a picture of the Hindenburg explosion, and look at the smoke. There's tons of faces in there. Look at the 9/11 thing. Tons of faces in there. And the smoke and the cloud and stuff like that. Faces showing up in the clouds. There's videos of people took off out of airplanes where there's something that looks like a totally humanoid shaped thing fucking walking around in the clouds. Like, but it looks like it's made out of clouds and it's walking around on top of the cloud. Like. There's been a ton of like that, man. Tons of pictures and videos of things like that in the clouds. That look like, I don't know if I should keep talking about the beans. I don't know what they are. There's all sorts of different things I've seen. There's these. I've seen in many instances got photos on my computer of ways you can see these things. Is you can see them a lot of. You can get pictures of them a lot of the time. You're not necessarily not gonna be able to pick them up with the naked eye probably, but a lot of times you can get pictures of them in smoke, mist, yeah, fog, vapor, vape cloud, perfect. But you gotta snap a bunch of pictures because it has to be just the right amount of smoke, vapor, or mist or whatever. It's got to be just the right amount. Too much, can't see it. Too little, can't see it. Just the right amount. You know what I mean? It'll kind of form around their shape, and you'll be able to see their features, basically, right? But these things are translucent, so if there's multiple ones, you might see, if you pay attention, it's hard to you got to look carefully and switch up your like depth perception, because sometimes there's multiple ones. You'll be seeing one, but there's other ones standing behind it. Or in front of, or whatever, yeah. I had a picture of one thing in my room that looked, one of the things I got a picture of, like, based on what it looked like, and then the color, I would say like the thing that I could see, the only thing I could find that is portrayed in that way is a jinn. This thing was just like sitting in bed beside me. I sensed something there. I don't know, maybe I felt something poke me or I don't know what, but I blew vape clouds and snapped a bunch of pictures, and then I had pictures of this thing that looked like a little genie looking thing or something, you know. But it was small, you know, not like some big, you know, muscle bound fucking thing or whatever. It's little short, small dude, kind of balding on top. Yeah, but he looked like a gen the way he dressed and everything. I don't know. I had a picture. I had pictures of that. I had pictures of this thing that kind of looked like a little bit like the aliens from Mars Attacks. Yeah, kind of. I had one picture that looked like Jesus, I think, or somebody that looked, you know, like kind of like depictions of Jesus, kind of, you know, basically. But then behind him, off to the side of my bed, there were like 4 or 5 of these things that looked like alien grays. And he was like sitting on the bed, like between me and them or something. Yeah. I gotta find these pictures so I can share some of these things. I'm sure I could probably get more pictures if I tried hard enough right now. I could probably get pictures of things. Yeah. Because these things are everywhere. They're all over the fucking place. They're probably in the room with you right now. I don't really know what they are. Exactly. I mean, I can take some guesses or whatever, but I mean, a lot of the depictions of various types of aliens and stuff are, and of like mythological creatures and things like that are fairly accurate depictions of the things that are all around us, uh, outside the limit of our sight, basically. Do I suspect that they may be capable of making themselves seen? And I think these things are kind of interfering with our lives. But I don't know. Like, it could be like I said, a simulation, and maybe like, you know, well, what's my theory on that sort of stuff, the supernatural stuff and all the weird changes and stuff? If it was like a simulation, well, okay, so if this world was a simulation, right? Uh, okay, so you know how there's like online video game servers and stuff? For instance, like Steam and other servers host a lot of different games, right? So, you know, various games have, you know, different game maps, different types of characters, things like that, you know. So, say you're, but these things are stored on the same server, right? So who's to say there couldn't be some type of bleed through, like while if you're playing GTA on some game server that's, you know, in the cloud, basically. Who's to say there couldn't be some, you know, bleed through from a World of Warcraft or something, or you know what I mean? I don't know. You know, I don't know. I don't know. Or just like some hackers using different avatars or something. You know what I mean? Right? People with administrative access or cheat codes or something, you know? I don't know. to make of this shit. It's I deal with a lot of weird stuff pretty much every day. Every day, every time I go out. Some of it, I guess, I would consider to be good. You know, like I have, the good stuff. Basically, to me is I've had some pretty intense stuff that I felt like sort of a positive feeling about some intense stuff, like this thing with lightning storms. Lightning seemed to be like something was trying to communicate with me, and I've had times where I was overcome by this presence of something that made me feel safe and calm and loved, and just this intense love and good feeling. Although I haven't experienced that presence and anywhere near that level in years, many years. I've had times where I was followed by or visited by, I would say something like a UFO or something, but I never could see what was up there, but there would just be this lightning in the clouds, or like a cloud that followed me with some weird colored lightning going on, and like, what in the hell is this thing? That's weird. Like, one thing, there was like different colors of lightning, like orange, and I mean, like weird lightning colors that I've never seen before and stuff, and this cloud, and the clouds seem to be following me. Or like, I've been in situations where there's just like lightning storm that forms and this cloud that just kind of follows me. And I've been followed, I don't know, one time was from, probably followed me about 30 miles or something. Another time it followed me, I guess about 20. Now, one I think was like 40 miles it followed me or something, and the other, it stopped following me as I turned off the highway, the one years ago, and the one that this happened again though, like just a couple of years ago when I was with this girl. I just tried to go over to another motel, thinking maybe it would be cheaper or something. It was a little cheaper, but it was a real rundown shithole, and nowhere to park really, and so anyways, so this girl, Jeanette, she doesn't even want to talk about the stuff. Like, I kept trying to point it out, like, you're seeing this, right? She just kind of like avoid the subject, and she got all freaked out. Yeah, she got pretty fucking freaked out. She started kind of having a nervous breakdown or something over. Yeah, I was like, dude, haven't seen this in a while, but it's happened before numerous times, So yeah, okay. Anyway, so this when she showed up to visit me at this hotel, she talked me into coming back to her apartment, stay the night over there, and so I went with her, and about the time she showed up and I went outside, this big dark cloud came in, and it was like all blue skies and sunshine all day, and this big dark cloud comes and just hovers over top of us. It wasn't that big, and so we went to stop off at 7-Eleven because it got us a couple of Slurpees, and as I'm walking into 7-Eleven, a lightning bolt strikes pretty close in front of me. And I was like, whoa. And then some guy said, whoa, dude, the lightning fucking almost hit. That was really close. And I'm like, yep. Not the fucking first time, you know? So I just walk into the store and, got the Slurpees, go back out to the car. Just another day in the life of me, I mean, I haven't had that sort of, that type of thing, I hadn't seen that in a while, but it wasn't new to me though, So, anyways, we go back to her place, and this is like probably 20 miles away, and this cloud follows us, and then it starts raining, and just lightning storm going on and on, but it's just, I mean, it got bigger, but I could see outside of the area of this cloud. It was still clear, and it wasn't raining out there. This thing was just hovering over us. It followed us back to her apartment, hovered over her apartment complex, and kept going on there. But you could see outside of it. You could see outside of it. I mean, I've seen all kinds of strange stuff in my life that doesn't add up. Like, for instance, I saw this thing when I was a kid. I'll tell you about something I saw when I was a kid. I walked out to the end of the driveway, and it was blue skies and sunshine, not a cloud in the sky, nothing. And it started raining just in this one little spot in front of me. I mean, like a little small circle of rain was pouring down from the sky. No clouds, and I'm looking up going, what the heck is going on, It's reminiscent of that scene from the Truman Show, where it starts raining just on him or just in front of him or something, and he's like running around and this like rain is like following him. Yeah, it's like that. Like I had. I've only seen that once. That was when I was a kid, but yeah, that was weird, Now the lightning thing, that's something I've experienced a number of times. How many times? Well, with like a small, isolated type of lightning that's just over me and like following me from one town to another, that's only, I think it's like 3 or 4 times or something in my life. Yeah. I don't remember exactly how many times. I remember specifically a couple of times when I went to go visit my dad in Salem, and it would show up in the highway and follow me down the highway, and then when I would turn off into Salem, it would stop following me. I was there in Phoenix watching out the back window of the car while my dad was driving. My mom was in the passenger seat when the Phoenix Lights, the UFO sighting called the Phoenix Lights. I was there. My parents were not impressed. They wouldn't even hardly pay any attention. They were, oh, it's just probably some flares or something, I'm like, you guys seeing this? Like, yeah. I mean, yeah, I've seen lots of UFOs, and I've seen, I don't, God, how many times have I seen UFO? Well, there's ones that like hide in the clouds, but then there's ones that I've actually just straight up seen. Uh, Back in like, God, 2020, I think, I saw, and the thing is, I forgot about this. I recovered the memory later on, like a week or two later. I just suddenly remembered what I had seen. I was in my room, and it was, I don't know, probably sometime around noon, afternoon. I don't remember. It wasn't that late. It was, bright sun, blue skies, and sunshine out. And I heard what sounded like a bunch of fighter jets or something. And I thought it was just like, so I just opened up the curtain, opened the window, and looked up thinking I was going to see some jets fly over. But instead, there was this big, huge, triangular shaped craft. And when I say huge, I mean like the, like as big or bigger than, like the biggest, like military aircraft that, transport vehicles and stuff like that. Yeah. And this thing it was like triangle shaped, and it just kind of hovered low right above the tree line and the trees in the backyard. And I was looking up at it, and I was just kind of frozen. I felt like I couldn't move. And then the next thing I remember, it was dark out, and yeah. And another experience which I didn't even realize, but I'm just basing this off of what somebody told me. This guy Bill, I mentioned being in a car with before. He's kind of kooky, but so we go over to this golf course that was a couple miles away from my house, right? And there's this little creek under the bridge. I don't know. We went under there. I don't remember what the point of it was. He actually asked me to like heal him some because I kind of have some ability, like energy work kind of thing. I've always usually had some ability to be able to heal people and stuff like that. But I've just felt energetically drained for years now. I've been getting like energy vamped big time. Anyways. So anyways, I wanted to just go home, and he didn't want to leave. So I just started walking down the road. I took off, and I walked a ways down the road, and it wasn't that long after I left, I don't think, but it was weird that it seemed like I was it didn't seem like hardly any time had passed, but I was pretty kind of far down the road a little bit, like further than you. And Bill comes driving up behind me, and he stops and is like, "Dude, where were you, man?" I'm like, "What are you?" And I say, "What are you talking about?" He says, "Man, I took off like right after you left, and I've been driving around out here looking for you for like an hour." And I say, "What the hell are you talking about?" And he says, "You just like he says, you just like disappeared Mm-hmm. And he said that I'd been gone for like an hour or two and he'd been out driving around looking for me and shit. Yeah. So, man, I don't know what the fuck this is, if there's aliens or fucking what the hell it is, but the deal is, I've had some very, very strange experiences, and many, many, many of them, you know, and almost every day of my life, when I go out, there's a lot of really weird going on around me. And I mean, it's a lot of little things. Most of the time, it's like a lot of little things that maybe, you know, seem specifically catered to me, so that, like, if I'm paying any attention, I notice the things. Like, it's designed to get me to notice these things. There'll be weird messages on signs and people's shirt, license plates, weird stuff that comes on the radio that's like singing about shit that I was just thinking about, or it has kind of a message in it that seems to be catered for me or what I'm dealing with. You know, certain songs that will play, you know, over and over, like when I'm getting messed with and I'm seeing 666s and all that sort of shit everywhere. Fucking radio will start playing Sympathy for the Devil or Highway to Hell, or, you know, some shit like that, right? It'll be on like damn near every channel. You switch stations, and it'll be another thing, you know. So when it gets like that, it'll just like, and it doesn't seem to matter what it is. Like sometimes even my MP, like I'll have like stuff on the MP3 player, and some will be going on, and just some random song that happened to be on there. I don't even remember what I had on that thing. What I put on that thing, it was just kind of whatever was in some random folder off of one of my laptops or whatever that I didn't even have. Most of my music collection was just some random shit that I dragged over at some point. Anyways, so yeah. So that sort of goes on, and I don't know. There's so many weird things, like Mandela effect sort of things. Some people are talking about like a number of the things. Like, I'll tell you one thing I noticed. This is from years back. I don't know. There's so many fucking things that, you know, but this is just something that I don't think I've heard anyone else talk about. But we had these blackberry bushes in our backyard that kind of overtaken the side yard, you know, somewhat to an extent. I'd trim them back, but I didn't want to cut them all down because I did like blackberries, and I'd make cakes and pie and stuff like that out of them, you know. So, anyways, the they changed the way they grew, and just one day, all of a sudden, they were all standing straight up. There were all these like shoots sticking straight up into the air. I've never seen anything like that. But there's so many other changes that I've noticed, like birds changed. The types of insects that were around changed significantly. I see changes seem to be happening steadily all the time, and one thing, it's like, I don't know, it's like I'm jumping around different places, or like, it's more like it's some kind of computer simulation or something, you know, because like, the type of stuff I've seen. I noticed, I can tell you a trick to see some weird shit, right? The trick is, okay, so, you know how there's Okay, here's another thing you can look up on the internet, and you can find a bunch of videos of these things. Look for bird frozen in the sky. Look for airplane frozen in place. Look for animals frozen in place. You could find videos of herds of sheep that are just like frozen, like just like standing still. Same with cows, people, uh, dogs, chickens, like all kinds of these things. And this shit's real. And the thing is, man, you can see this stuff. I'll tell you a trick. I'll tell you a trick that I've learned. I basically kind of figured out how to see this myself. The trick is, it's kind of, have you heard of the double slit experiment? You might want to look that up too. It's the or look up the observer effect, right? Basically, the double slit experiment was that in this experiment they learned that if I don't remember which is which exactly. I don't remember the whole thing, but basically, uh, you know, waveforms, particles became waveforms, or vice versa. I don't remember, anyways. But it was based on whether or not the experiment was being observed. If it wasn't observed, it would be a waveform or something. If it was being observed, it would come out as a particle. Okay, so anyways, the reason I bring that up is that if you want to be able to like see some of this stuff, the trick is you've got to empty your mind and observe as though you're not observing. I don't how do I explain this? It's like the things know that you are looking at them, but if you can look without visualizing what you're seeing inside of your mind, if you can blank the slate of your mind so it's like you're not looking, or just use your peripheral vision, don't look directly at it, try very hard. It's easier to do with peripheral. It's pretty difficult to do if you're looking straight on at something, to not have the focus, to not have your mind like visualize it. But once your mind visualizes it, then it changes, right? But you try this when you're out driving in the country or something, and you're passing by animals, out in the field, cows and chickens and sheep and horses and whatever the hell, right? Plenty of instances I've been out driving around when I was making deliveries and stuff where I noticed that if I just glance over, and if I could not visualize in my mind what I was looking at, observe without letting your mind know that you're observing, kind of thing. If you can do that, then you can see the field of animals like frozen in place, not moving. Also, another thing, if you do that, you can sometimes see other types of effects. Like I've done this before. Like go someplace, but if you can clear your mind and not let your brain know where you're going, and then go somewhere without plan, like, you've got to not let your brain know what you're doing, basically. Don't visualize or think about where you're going. It's difficult to do, but if you can do it, then you'll find that things change. Like, for instance, if I'll try and give you an example of what I mean, or just like well, for instance, Also, it's like if you don't, yeah, don't plan, just go with the flow kind of thing. Like, and you can go, like, for instance, God, I've talked about how I'm, like, mobbed and stuff by large numbers of people and vehicles and stuff like that. Well, that can change, right? It's like, if you're in regular mind, okay, there's like a higher mind, thought above thought, more of a knowing kind of a thing, you know what I mean? And but your mind is observable and interacts with, I don't know, the waveforms or particles that make up reality here, kind of in a sense. So if this simulation or whatever the heck wants to mess with you in some kind of way, well, in order for it to know what you're doing or where you are, you've got to be like basically broadcasting the shit in your mind. It's like reading your mind and your intentions and things like that, kind of. But I've had times where I try to get away from the shit, you know, and I've had some success sometimes in getting away from it. And how I've done it is, and I need to remember and try to do this more. But how I've done it sometimes is you gotta make your mind kind of like a blank slate and just kind of flow to where you're going without broadcasting the intention of where you're going. Don't tell anyone. Try. I mean, other people will observe you too, and then their thoughts can trigger things to happen. But if you can blank slate your own mind to an extent and go, I don't know, for instance, let's say if you're a targeted individual or something, you're getting mobbed and swarmed by people and stuff like that. And, you know, say like, you know, a normal person goes to McDonald's and there's only like one person there at the restaurant, but you go there and there's fucking 200 people there mobbing you and there's hardly anywhere to park and so on. Well, next time you just decide to go to McDonald's, don't think about it so loud. Don't tell anyone about it. Don't visualize where you're going in your mind. And try to travel there. Blank slate your mind. Don't broadcast your thoughts of where you're going. Or if better yet, broadcast thoughts of going somewhere else. Say you want to go to McDonald's. Well, inside your mind, think about going to Taco Bell. And start visualizing inside your mind that you're headed to Taco Bell. And then at the last minute, you just turn off into the McDonald's parking lot. Bam. Right? Oh, look. No other cars. Look, there's plenty of places to park. You walk in there and people look surprised. People look panicked. They're like, oh, you know? Yeah. Like, oh my God. Yeah, seriously. Seriously, try it. But you'll notice if you start to, you know, I forget to do this shit because I'll just get like drawn into like lower states of consciousness a lot of the time by all the shit screwing with me or being annoyed with how I'm having to live my life and the kind of bullshit that I have to deal with. And then like I'll stop doing it, you know, and I get screwed with more of it. I don't know. They always find ways to screw with you, pretty much. But like, you could make it. There are ways to catch a moment break or whatever, and get away from, like, catch them by surprise kind of thing. There are ways of doing that. The reading, well, but you'll notice if you start doing that more regularly for a while, some people start showing up, and more people will start asking you questions like, where you going, what you doing, et cetera, right? Because that's another way they can find out where you're going, right? Just ask you where you're going. Oh, hey man, where you going? Right? Oh, are you going to take this road? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Right? And you can lie to those people while focusing intently in your mind that the lie you're telling them is true. Yeah. But again, it's difficult to do that shit. It is, and to keep it up. See, I would do these sorts of things. At times in the past, it was easier for me to do this sort of thing for longer periods of time, because I was able to get away from things and isolate myself for a while, and get into a better place spiritually and mentally and stuff, to where I was able to do this stuff for a while. But then after a while, when you're in this when you're able to get yourself into a higher state of consciousness and remain there for a while, and to mask your movements and your intentions and what you're doing and all this kind of stuff, you will get people showing up to try to pull you out of the higher state of consciousness. But that's not all they're doing. They're also coming in person to observe you, to see what you're doing, to question you, to try to see, what you plan to do, where you going, what road you're going to take, et cetera, right? It's hard not to be dragged down into a lower state of consciousness when you don't control your environment. If I had an environment that I had more control over, like if I owned a house out in the country, and I had, land, and I could had a big fence and gate around my property, and, good secure doors and windows, bar, and, so on, and, good security systems, dogs out in the yard, and, et cetera, right? I was able to control my environment and keep the outside world that wants to interfere with me the fuck away from me. Then I could probably maintain a higher state of consciousness for quite some time, if not indefinitely. If I could just get away from... I don't know how long it would take, though. It's like the longer you can do that, there's this shaman, Yaqui shaman called Don Juan Matis, right? He said something like that. When you're able to silence your mind and to observe your thoughts, it's about kind of being in the present, being an observer of thoughts, It's about a different form of consciousness. It's like a higher state of consciousness that's above thought. When you get into that and you can silence the thoughts, quiet your mind, try not to broadcast your intentions, where you're going, what thinking, etc. Don't think in here, think out there, kind of thing. I don't know. And when you can do this, he talks about how what basically it's what people call an aura. He talks about and some people call it your what the mama or something. I don't remember, but you he says that you're when you're in this state, then you're basically, he talks about these beings that he called the flyers. He speaks of the flyer's mind, that they give us their mind and their thoughts, their emotions, and they make us think that we're them, that their thoughts are our thoughts, that their feelings are our feelings, etc. So you get into a state of mind where you're above this, and over time he says what he calls, most people call an aura, he calls your glowing code of awareness, and he says that that's what they feed on. But by denying them entry into your thoughts, your glowing code of awareness grows larger. Now eventually, your glowing code of awareness reaches into the earth like roots, and you can grow, your code of awareness can grow very large, making you kind of like a spiritual giant or whatever kind of thing, which basically I think is our natural state. And I think if you could get into this state long enough, like for a more extended period of time, I was able to achieve this for, I've had various, I've done this numerous times, but I think the longest I ever managed to be in this kind of like Zen state was, I don't know, like a month or two. I've had a couple times where, and there's times where I'll be able to manage to accomplish that state of mind. Wait, hold on. No, a better way of explaining is like saying it like the guy, kid in the Last Samurai says, "Too many mind the sword, mind the mind the field, mind the opponent, no mind." It's about mind. It's about no mind. First have to realize the truth. There is no spoon, and then you will realize it is only yourself. Right? Okay, yeah. Basically, yeah, those are pretty good explanations. Thought beyond thought. No mindedness. That is the key. If you can achieve that and hold on to that, then I think, we could get into our natural state of being. This is difficult to achieve, and pretty much the entire world that we live in today is designed to keep us from being able to access that, and keep us from being able to stay in that. It's all about dragging us into the lower mind and keeping us there and beating us down so it can feed off of our energy. I did notice that the longer I've been able to achieve these things, which mostly a lot of it is luck. Just having a time and a place where you can get away from the external influences that corrupt you and cause you stress and trauma and, you know, fear and so on and so forth. You, if you can kind of isolate yourself away from the shit and just purify yourself, that's another thing. Purifying yourself is very helpful. It's a lot. It's difficult to maintain such a state of mind when your body is impure with toxic crap, you know. Fasting is very helpful. A ketogenic diet is very helpful. Being in a state of ketosis, basically, where you're powered by, like, you know, fats instead of sugars, getting rid of the yeah, that's it's helpful. You know, sweating out toxins, doing detoxes, fasting, all these things are very beneficial in terms of, you know, accessing that sort of thing. Another thing that's great about fasting is, like, and just detoxing in general. Uh, I didn't even, I wasn't even fasting, and if you just detox, like, if you have access to a sauna, use that shit, you know? Whatever detox supplements, you know, Yellow Dock, or whatever. I don't know. What the fuck is this shit? I don't know. There's a number of different herbs that you can use. There's like colon cleanse type herbs. There's, you know, you can just take a Metamucil or whatever. Uh, you can take, you know, things to help, like calcium to sodium EDTA, to try to detox heavy metals out of your system. You could make yourself sweat like crazy. A number of things you can do. You can detox out those things and have more time where you're able to get into a state of ketosis helps as well. You could do that through fasting or through intermittent fasting, or just switching to a ketogenic diet, you know, meat based, you know, basically kind of thing. And you can get into a state where I'm telling you, when you get, you, it's like a superpower, man. I'm not just talking, like, it's like a psychological, spiritual superpower, but it also becomes like more of a physical superpower. I remember when I detoxed like that for a few months or whatever, man. I would, if I could, I would get cuts sometimes. Like I'd scrape myself on something and get a cut on my arm, or cut my finger or some shit, you know, and it would be healed within like an hour, just disappear like it never happened. I had scars that disappeared that I'd had for years. Like, another thing that's good is taking baths and salt. You know, the magnesium and everything help. And a hot bath helps you sweat and detox and stuff too. Uh, I don't know. I think it could be possible. I think basically, a lot of the time, I think maybe Eckhart Tolle has managed to achieve this sort of state and hold on to it. I'm not sure, but that's how he's presenting himself to be, and that's kind of what it seems like. Maybe I know I'm a fan of the power of now, like that yeah, that actually helped me with the some of the times that I've achieved that state of consciousness. And he talks about some of the things that, like, help with that is being present, pay attention to, well, like, instead of lost your mind thinking about the past, thinking about the future, worrying about this, worrying about that. It's about shifting your focus, kind of a lot of it. Like, I can focus on, oh my God, am I going to make enough money? Or I can listen and hear the birds singing in the trees. I can hear the sound of the wind from the fan blowing around the room. I can feel my heartbeat and the blood flowing through my veins throughout my whole body. You could probably do that too. I don't know if anyone. I don't know if that's weird, if that's just me, but like, you can do that. You just have. Yeah, you can feel it. I can feel my heartbeat, like, in my feet. I can feel the veins going all through my body, the blood pumping in them. Mm-hmm. You focus on your breath or whatever. There's things you can do to try to keep yourself in the present. But this is difficult because of the things the things that we're basically almost essentially forced into doing and to dealing with. We're constantly being bombarded by there's, the way this world is, it's set up to where we're constantly bombarded by forces that are kind of trying to force us into situations we don't want to have to deal with, put into uncomfortable situations all the time. People trying to impose their will, impose their thoughts on us, impose burdens onto us. They lay us with heavy burdens. Yes. I really think I could be capable of great things as far as the spiritual matters go, and just being in a very positive place. But it's, again, I say it's difficult. It has been difficult. It's a difficult thing to. I mean, I can achieve such a state of consciousness. What's difficult is holding on to it and staying in that state and not being dragged into lower state. Because the world will throw all kinds of crap at you to try to drag you into that lower state. I'll give you an example. One time, I had been in this, higher state of consciousness, like power now sort of stuff, and like achieved like very good healing, and I was in a very positive place, like spiritually and everything. I guess some people might call it Holy Spirit led or whatever. I don't know. Whatever you want to think of it, I was in a higher state of consciousness and had maintained this for, it was about a month at that point. I don't know, it was probably 6, 7, 8 years ago or something. I don't know. But It had been about a month, and I was even I felt like my maybe my aura had become stronger, so to speak, or the glowing code of awareness had become larger, and it's like I had my bubble where I was like safe to an extent, but what these people that have these beings controlling, they'll show up around this when you've managed to be in a heightened state of consciousness for a long enough period of time. You get external people probably controlled by these things that are trying to mess with you, and they'll show up and try to bring drama and stress, worry, fear, whatever, anxiety, whatever the heck. They try to trigger things in you, and basically to penetrate your energy field so that they can reinsert this lower consciousness into your energy field. And that time, this specific time that I'm talking about, this guy, uh, I'd had, I think Bill or something show up and kind of trying to do that, and it didn't bother me, and I was chill the whole time. And then there's this guy, Mike, called me up, just going on and on, ranting and raving, freaking out. And I was kind of like counseling him or something, because I was in this super zen state of mind, and I was like being super positive. So he wasn't breaking through, he wasn't getting to me. And that's when I saw, like, I don't know how many there were because I didn't see down the street, but these MRAPs, I looked up my surveillance camera, and there were these, like, MRAPs. You know what an MRAP is? Mine resistant armored personnel carrier. Anyways, police roll up, like SWAT type looking shit, rolled up in MRAPs out on the street, across the street, and there's all these dudes get out, like, fully strapped up, rifles, armor, helmets, the whole line, marching up and down the street in front of the place, and I'm watching them on the surveillance camera. I'm just like, what the hell? And I still managed to be in this higher state of consciousness and to hold on to it for quite some time. But they marched around out there for like an hour, and it was like they were just putting on a show. Like yeah. It was like they were just putting on a show. Like they just, like, stormtroopered up and down the street, wielding rifles, and they stood out on the road. And they started, like, shining laser pointer and flashlights over at my surveillance camera that I was watching them through. I just kind of calmly sat there. But then, at some point, something got into me where I started to be worried or fearful and thinking, what if they try to attack? What if they, what's going on? What are they doing? What if they come after, whatever. I started getting paranoid. And so basically, yeah, after probably about an hour and a half of this street theater going on, they managed to break through my energy field and lower my state of consciousness. So that's how I fell out of it that time. They went to the length of having, like, basically stormtroopers marching around in the street and putting on a street theater show to try and freak me out, to get me out of the higher state of consciousness that I'd managed to maintain it for like a month. Other times I just get into a state of consciousness like that, and it lasts an hour or two, or whatever. Or I would be, like, say at my mom's house, I'd get into this state of consciousness for hours, or for like however many, and then I'd walk out in the living room, there's all this lower consciousness around me, like, fucking with me, and it pulls me out of it. That's the thing. Yeah. You have to be able to, like, get away from all the lower consciousness for a while, and just And the longer you're able to maintain it, the more defense you have, and the longer it will take external forces to drag you out of the heightened state of consciousness. But the fuckers are persistent. And they'll go to great lengths to drag you out of a higher state of consciousness if you manage to achieve it and hold on to it for a while. They will go to great lengths to try to get you out of that state of consciousness and try to keep you out of it. They'll fucking have people attack you, mess with you, mob you, you know, just all sorts of shit to try and intimidate you, try to freak you out, try to get you in fear, or they'll try to drag you into fear or drag you into just any lower thing. Basically, a lot of the stuff that's called sin or whatever is actually just lower states of consciousness, like things like yeah, a lot of the things like emotions and stuff like that is it. A lot of emotion is just lower state of consciousness. Hate, fear, jealousy, envy, lust, on and on and on, are just aspects of a lower state of consciousness that's not our own true consciousness, which is the higher consciousness. Source consciousness. The I am, you know? The I am that I am, you know? The beingness of the being which we truly are is not one with a lower consciousness that seeks to manifest its desires within our mind and our periphery. But it wants to keep us out of higher states of consciousness. And if we achieve higher states of consciousness, it wants to get us out of that, you know. But if you're able to get away to where you can bring yourself into a higher state of consciousness for a longer period of time, the longer you're able to do it, well, you're, as the Yaqui shaman Don Juan Matus said, your glowing, what do you call it? Shit. Glowing state of glowing coat of awareness, which some would call your aura, grows larger and larger and larger as you become rooted, you know, and that energetic form becomes rooted in the earth. And like a tree, you sprout, and your coat of awareness becomes larger. And it's like an energetic field that is like a shield against these forces. The only way they can regain access to fuck with your mind and to bring you into these lower forms of consciousness is to penetrate your energetic field and insert their thoughts into your mind. And they'll go to great lengths to try to do this, whether it be going to great lengths to try to frighten you, or make you defensive, or try to make you angry, fearful, jealous, envious, whatever. Whatever works, you know. Fear is one. Yeah, they like that flavor, don't they? I tell you, sometimes this place I get screwed with pretty hardcore, you know. I have some days where it's like things work out, and the outside world when I go out is very different. It's almost like I travel between dimensions or something. And like there's one where things are more normal, laid back, and then other ones mostly where it's hectic, it's chaotic, and there's way more there's way more crowding and way more people around than the ones that are fucked up. I noticed that. I take days I go out and there's hardly any traffic out there and there's not much going on. Things are probably going to go pretty good. Although sometimes that's not always the case. Yeah. I'll tell you. Sometimes I wonder if there isn't some kind of like, almost like West. You ever seen that? I'm not talking about the old, Western movies with Yul Brynner. I'm talking about the what is it, like Netflix or Amazon Prime or something? It's a series called Westworld. If you haven't seen that, you got to see that. I've seen some things in this place that's one of the things, some of the stuff I've seen that leads me to believe that this has got to be some kind of a simulation or something. Is I've seen things that lead me to believe this. How do I put this? I've been awake at times when everyone else is asleep. I have been out at times when no one else was out and conscious, or almost no one else. No one except for, like, I don't know who they really are or what their role is, but like I say, if you've seen Westworld, you'll know what I'm talking about. You know how like in Westworld, sometimes they'll just freeze everybody, and there's like no movement anywhere, and then the guys in the suits come. Oh, it's also, yeah. Have you seen that movie, The Adjustment Bureau, with Matt Damon or whatever? Yeah, kind of like that. Like when he walks into the building and everyone's like frozen in place, and there's these dudes like warping people's memories and like that. And he's like, "You're not supposed to, you're not supposed to be awake," and they drag him through some fucking magic door into the parking garage and trying to wipe his brain and, tell him you better not tell anyone, Yeah. Like, I've had experiences where I have been awake while the outside world seemed to be, or the construct, whatever you want to call it, seemed to be inactive. And actually, that's what it was like, kind of, when I went out, the last time I got a DUI, 2015, Friday the 13th, man. I went out, it was dark, and it's kind of late. Not, it was, I don't remember how late it was, like, but still, it was strange for there not to be any other traffic anywhere. There was, like, nobody at, no, I didn't see anyone walk around the parking lot at Walmart. There was, like, no, there were no cars on the street anywhere. the whole fucking way into town. And when I got into town, there were no other cars except these police cruisers that rolled up, like hauled ass from out in the middle of the country, and fucking were like, they rolled up behind me and like pulled me over and gave me a Dewey. But yeah, that was clearly a setup. But but it was strange that there were no other vehicles out, no other people around anywhere. Yeah, and that's not the only time I've. I'll tell you, when I first moved in here, I noticed for a while that if I would blank my mind like I was talking about, that there would be no traffic. And sometimes, I would go out and I'd look out the window and there's no cars, no people walking around, nothing, just dead silence, and that is, yeah. But if I start paying attention, I'll tell you about some other thing. Now, this is something that's happened more than once when I was, like, drunk, and I was, I'll admit I was drunk at the time, but a number of months back, I was drunk, and I was talking to this dude out on the porch about how, like, none of this shit is real. It's like a simulation or some kind of shit. And all these fucking, like, sirens started up as I started talking about this. And I was like, none of this shit is real. Look. And I just fucking snapped my fingers, and all of the sirens stopped immediately. Like, like, see what I mean? Not real. Now, I wish I could access that sort of ability all the time. It's like when I have access abilities like that, it seems to be by accident, or like, I don't know, or like I'm in some different, I don't know what the it is, but how. But yeah, sometimes it's like I've been able to just I don't really know how to fucking do it though. It's like sometimes I just fucking do it, but I don't know how. I guess like they say, what did it say, that passage of the Bible or whatever, faith the size of a mustard seed, you could move mountains or something like that. I don't know. I mean, I think there is truth to the idea of manifestation, but the thing is that there are many other beings around that also have that ability. And many of them have much darker desires or thoughts and beliefs that are, I mean, like prayer works, for instance, but like one of the big things is a lot of that could be intention as well, right? Consciousness manifesting reality, Like, for instance, you know how curses work? Like, people think about things and they desire certain outcomes in your life, whether it be positive or negative. They focus their intent on you. Many times their intent is misplaced. So a lot of times, sometimes they'll just, speak bad things into your life. That's one of the ways people try to curse you is with words a lot of the time. And many of them might not even know they're doing it. A lot of people probably don't even know they're doing it. You know? And they'll say all this, speak all these negative things over you. That's one of the reasons why why many of us end up with our lives being fucked up, is because we just got all these people focusing negative shit on us, thinking about negative shit, and speaking it aloud, and speaking it, focusing all this dark fucking worries about either a lot of times it's people who care about us who worry about things, and they're sitting around worrying that bad things are gonna happen to us and thinking that bad things are gonna happen to us, so they fucking do. Because they're manifesting these things into our life, whether it be knowingly or unknowingly. Like it was my mom, when my mom got really sick and fucking kind of slowly started dying. Right before it happened, right before she started like falling down and you know, having problems, she started speaking negatively, and her husband started speaking negatively. Some of her brothers showed up and said, "Oh, you're gonna start falling down. You're probably gonna need a wheelchair. You're gonna need this and that." And she hadn't even been falling down. She'd fallen down like once or twice or something, a couple times. Probably tripped on our fucking uneven floor. But she was walking better than I'd seen her walk in years. She was healthier. I was trying to speak a lot of positive things. And it'd be my sister and her fucking boyfriend that was kind of like possessed by a fucking demon, basically. And a bunch of people start showing up and speaking all these negative things, negative outcomes into her life. "Oh, you're not going to be around much longer. You got to do this and that." And I'm just like, and she was healthier than I'd seen her in years at that point. But right after all that stuff and all these people speaking these negative things over her, my consciousness trying to resist these things and trying to speak positive things was not strong enough to go up against all of these other people fucking with her beliefs and their beliefs, like basically imposed this shit on her, and I watched her fall apart because of the fucking curses cast on her by her own fucking family, basically. You'll remember that you're loved. Yeah, I don't know. You've got to. Have you heard that saying? You know, inside of us, inside of all of everyone, you know, inside of me there are two dogs. One is, you know, evil and wicked and evil, and the other is good, and they're always fighting with each other. And I say, which one wins? The one you feed the most. This world is falling apart because the whole structure of society and this world pushes us all into a lower state of consciousness, and we're feeding that bad dog. That lower state of consciousness that is not our consciousness. It's our consciousness. You know? If you know, you know. right? Kind of a play on words there. If you don't know, then look up Archon. Look up Archons. Yeah. It's like a Gnostic thing. He's talking about, I guess the Gnostic, from what I understand, the Gnostic take is, although I'm not sure that I agree with the Gnostic take on this, that depends. I might be lean more towards like a Marcionite type of thing or something like that, maybe. I don't know. But, see, they're basically saying that there's, similar to what Don Juan Mattis talks about, and you know, Carlos Castaneda's books talk about him and like the active side of infinity and things like that. Talk about mostly his interactions with Don Juan Mattis. This guy, he refers to it as the flyer's mind. And they're these beings called the flyers. That's what he calls them. He said that these things, sometime way in the past, these things descended down upon us into the world, and they took control of our lives, and they feed off of us. And they do this by entering into our mind and they make us believe that their thoughts are our thoughts, that their emotions are our emotions. They basically infect us with thoughts and emotions that are not natural to us, that are not our own. They're not of us. They're not from us. It's their thoughts, their emotions. They fuck with us. Basically, they fuck with our mind and corrupt us. And they keep us in, they bring us down into a lower state of consciousness than our natural state of consciousness, which is a higher state of consciousness. It's a being oneness, an I am, an isness, you might say, that is a higher state of consciousness, that is true, source, creator, source of what we truly are. Now this. Now, okay, the Gnostics use the term archon. It means ruler to describe these beings. Many Gnostics believe I don't know that I agree with them in this, but they I don't know, maybe to some extent that this I don't remember. I should learn more about it, but I kind of get turned off by some of the stuff that they talk about, and a lot of people. There's a lot of shit that isn't like. A lot of stuff gets kind of mixed in together, and people add their own interpretations, and there's all these channelers and stuff like that that add their own fucking crap in, and it just gets mixed up, and you know. But I mean, the Nag Hammadi is interesting, basically, Archon, same concept as It's the same concept as like the Flyer's mind, basically. Same deal. I guess the story with that is that this demiurge called Yaldabaoth uh, was created by Sophia, and this demiurge created physical reality and created the physical world, and that he and his other beings that he created in the higher form used this world as like kind of essentially a loosh farm, which is to harvest energy from us. And that they basically found that they produced more of this energy that they feed on by with they like to feed off of negative emotions that like produces more energy, like fear, hate, envy, jealousy, yada 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 yada, right? No, I don't know, man. I don't fucking know what the deal is here. A lot of times I think, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that seems like spiritual aspect or almost magical or alien or whatever the fuck, but with a lot of the stuff I've seen, it makes me think that this place is, this realm that we are in is artificial nevertheless, and this is something akin to a computer simulation. Or maybe it's a thought form. I don't know. It's something like that where something outside of this is able to alter the fabric of time and space and reality, to alter physical matter, change things just like that. Although I suspect that they get their power from us. That they're like leeching our power and keeping us in a lower state of consciousness in order to power themselves, to give themselves the ability to control us by using our own power to control us. Yes, that's what I see going on. They use our own. See, we are in our natural state powerful creator beings capable of consciously manifesting reality. But they manipulate our minds, manipulate our thoughts and emotions in so many ways. And by doing this, they've created a world that suits their agenda, a world that's very hostile to us. But they've gotten us to create it for them with our own powers of conscious manifestation. Well, I'll give you an example. All the religious stuff and all the movies and the videos and all the things that come out all the time meant to scare us and meant to make us believe in a biblical apocalypse or whatever, that we're living in the end times, that the end is near, everything's gonna go crazy. Oh my God, this terrible thing's gonna happen. Oh my God, be worried, be afraid all the time. Be worried, be afraid. Oh, things are getting so bad. Oh, things are gonna get worse. Oh my God, the Terminator, like they'll make movies like, Terminator and like zombie, outbreak shit and on and on and on to get us focusing and believing that all this negative shit's gonna happen. They got millions or billions or however many people are actually here that are actually like real fucking people. They fuck with us. They mess with our minds. And our own conscious power of manifestation manifests the dark reality that they desired. That's pretty much how it goes. But the difficulty of it is, even if you get into a higher state of consciousness and you're able to, get away long enough to get into a higher state of consciousness to be able to take the power of manifestation into your own hands, you're still having to deal with even the beings here that are, in lower states of consciousness still have the power of manifestation within them, but they're not in control of it. You try to manifest good things, there's still millions or billions actually of other people in lower states of consciousness that are being manipulated to use their power of manifestation to manifest negative around us. So it's like, me against the world kind of thing. You can be, trying to consciously manifest peace on earth and goodwill towards men, while there's billions of other people trying to consciously manifest violence and bloodshed and war and disaster and so on and so forth. And though it's true that from a higher state of consciousness, you have more power of manifestation than any single fucking person in a lower state of consciousness. But collectively, manipulated or not, they have the same sort of abilities at manifesting, so it's not being controlled by them, it's being steered by negative entities that seek to destroy us. So anyways, yeah. Well, basically, they're kind of ruining our lives, making us pretty miserable a lot of the time, forcing us to exist in a very artificial reality here that is not what, this is not how we're supposed to be living. This is not the way things are supposed to be here. And the truth of the matter is that those of us who are truly conscious, who have that higher state of consciousness, that oneness, that being, that isness, are far more powerful than they are. But their power is the power to manipulate the power of the unawake masses. They use people like batteries. Now, batteries and antennas, in order, use the power of other people in order to manifest the dark reality that they want to manifest, instead of, you know. Well, here, I'll give you an example of, like, look back at what it was like in the United States in the 1950s and the type of stuff that they were telling people, right? Or, you know, earlier than that, even. They were telling people that, you know, in the future, you're going to have, you know, flying cars and everyone gets a jetpack. Everything's wonderful. This is the best place in the world. It's so nice and peaceful and sunny and wonderful and beautiful out there. Everybody have a wonderful day. And all the movies were all these positive messages and good things. And now look at it. What is it? Bloodshed, war, violence, murder, apocalypse, dystopia. That's what we're being shown. And that's what's being manifested on the earth now. They enter into the consciousness to manifest the darkness they desire. I don't know. The thing about that is, and what seems strange to me is that it seems to me that what they're doing to us is detrimental to themselves as well. Yes, they're feeding on a dark energy that darkens them and ruins their existence. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're creating all this negative energy and then feeding off of that. Doesn't make their existence better. No. I mean, I would think a world full of people that are full of love and joy and happiness, peace, and, you know, laughter, so on and so forth, that sort of energy would be far nicer to feast on or whatever, you know. Taste better, you know, whatever. You would think. It's like they're spiritual. Well, I guess the problem with that would be that in a condition like that. Oh, yeah, I get it. Never mind, yeah. Now I just figured out why they don't do that. Just took me a second. I realized. Because if we lived in a world where we were at peace and joy and so on and so forth, then we would probably it would be much easier for us to get out of the darker state of consciousness, to build up our energetic field, and they wouldn't be able to feed off of us because we would have a strong, like, basically energy shield protecting us from them. Mm-hmm. They have to get us into a lower state of consciousness in order to feed off of our energy field. Because that energy field can act as like a shield, an energetic shield that keeps them the fuck away from us. Keeps them from being able to feed on us. And there's so many ways that this world puts me in a situation where I get one of the reasons I need to freak out and I need to rant, is like I gotta let go of a lot of that darkness so that I can sometimes get into a state of, peacefulness and of beingness. Because this place, it drags me down into darkness so frequently, and it's very difficult to get into a more positive state and to maintain that state. Because I'm being essentially forced, sort of like, you could almost say, like, well, we all are kind of being, like, blackmailed into living in a way we don't want, doing things we don't want to do. Like, it's like, go do this stupid thing to keep you distracted and in a lower state of consciousness, or you won't have anywhere to sleep. You won't have anywhere to live. Yeah. Place kind of forces it on, forces us into a position basically where in order to get along in this world, or just in order to be able to mesh with this world, it's like you have to get into a lower state of consciousness, kind of, unless you have the resources to get away from the shit. I don't know. I don't know how Eckhart Tolle it well. I mean, Tolle, I don't know what his financial situation was before, or how he was able to deal with the stresses of life. I guess from what I remember, his explanation is that he kind of just snapped and broke and had a situation where he couldn't take it, period, and he managed to just break away from it somehow. I don't know how he managed to break away and to access that and to stay in that state of higher consciousness, but it's difficult to do when because this world sends all kinds of shit at you, and if you don't control your environment, it's very difficult. You gotta be able, it's I think, now I would suspect that Eckhart Tolle, if he was able to maintain that state of consciousness like he seems as though, I would suspect that at some point he must have been able to get away from the outside external influences for a decent amount of time. He must have been able to just get off by himself in some, like, nature setting or something for, like, I don't know, 6 months, a year, or something. I don't know, maybe he spent a year at a fucking ashram or something, or a Buddhist monastery, just camping out in the forest or something, in a yurt, or who knows, right? Just walking around, taking nature hikes for a year or something. I don't know. Must have been, I would think it would take something like that, I don't know. If you just had money to get away from shit, Well, because like I said, I think that over a period of time, if you can manage to maintain a higher state of consciousness for an extended period of time, your energetic field grows over time, And the longer you're able to stay in that higher state of consciousness, you know, the more your energetic field grows, the more you are shielded from the influence of, the darkness of the outside world and the shit that's trying to mess with your consciousness. So if you were able to get into that state and manage to be in a situation, a place, or time where you could maintain that heightened state of consciousness for, I don't know how long it would take, 6 months, a year, something like that, then you may be in a position afterwards to where you could go out and deal with all the bullshit in the world, and maybe they wouldn't be able to drag you back down into the lower state of consciousness anymore at that point. I don't know. I know that the longer periods of time where I've been in a higher state of consciousness, the more difficult, the longer it took them, and the more intense things had to get in order to bring me down out of the higher state of consciousness. One of these times I'd been in the state of consciousness for like a month or something. Another time where I'd been in a higher state of consciousness for like a month. Cleared out all the dark stuff out of myself, out of the house, everything. And my sister's birthday comes up a couple weeks before Halloween, and her, possessed boyfriend comes over. He downed like a fifth of whiskey before he fucking showed up. Rides in the back of the car. I had to basically carry his ass inside. And I was totally like zen, like walking freaking zen at the time, and to deal with him. I thought I could handle dealing with this guy that he was being so obnoxious and nasty, and I didn't want my mom and her husband, and everybody to have this guy bugging the crap out of them, and I thought I would save them by letting him come back to my room and just sit in there, and I'd like babysit him or something. But he was being extremely abusive and nasty, saying, talking about all these like fantasies of murdering me and all these crazy, insults, and they were just talking shit, like, and this went on for, must have been like an hour and a half, and most of the time I had managed to keep my calm and keep my composure and still stay in a higher state of consciousness and just try to, peacefully use this. But it finally, like, I slipped into a slightly lower state, and I said, man, I'm tired of listening to you. Just get the hell out of my room, right? And then he jumped up and lunged at me and, like, cocked his fist up trying to hit me or something, and I just kind of, weaved my head to the side and right cross to the face, as he came in at me. And I was sitting in my chair, and he was, like, standing up running at me. Yeah. But that brought me out of my higher state of consciousness, basically. But the fact that it took it like an hour and a half of him being like a total psychotic fucking possessed asshole or whatever, and then actually trying to physically attack me to freaking bring me out of the higher state of consciousness, it shows that the fact that I had been in that state of consciousness for like a month or more had built up my energetic field enough to where I was able to resist that for quite a while. I think if I had control of my if I had more control of my environment, I think I could get into a higher state of consciousness and stay there and just be like straight up, you know, Eckhart Tolle, or straight up Zen Buddhist monk fucking level consciousness like all the time. If I could control my environment, yes. Or even if I could control my environment for 6 months or a year or something. I don't know. I don't know how long it would take. But I think I would have to have a greater degree of control of my environment to maintain to get there and to maintain that. Because this world will do all kind this construct, this world, this whatever it is controlling this, whether it be the demiurge or whatever the heck you want to call it, something is like really messes with us. Really messes with us here, and it seems to have control of almost everybody and everything. And do all kinds of weird shit to drag us into a lower state of consciousness. No, I mean seriously, I've had other times where I've been in a higher state of consciousness for like a few weeks or a month or whatever, right? And armed Apache gunships fucking fly down at low altitude over my head while I'm out working in the garden, or you know, some weird shit, or just a bunch of people showing up like over at the house and like mobbing me and just trying, things to like mess with my head, and just all goes on and on until I slip out of the higher state of consciousness. And I don't know, this sort of stuff happens to me all the time. Like I'll manage to achieve like a more zen state and more peace, and then I manage to stay in that for a while, and like they'll start messing with me real like big time every time I go out, and to where it gets to a point where it's nearly impossible to work, or to go out and earn money or do anything. I'm just getting constantly harassed and falling around, having all kinds of weird shit happening around me all fucking day. And if I'm able to laugh it off, or things just get amped up more and more and more, until something gets to me, and it builds up until I slip out of a higher state of consciousness, and I become pissed off, or I become fearful, or whatever they manage to do, or just really depressed or whatever, aggravated, depressed, whatever. This shit builds up and it gets to me, it really gets to me, and I end up slipping out of a higher state of consciousness, and then they just kind of do whatever they can do to maintain that, It's mostly when I have to go out and do shit to try to make money. If I can just have a bit of time to myself, to do like some inner work and vent and just clear out the dark energies that have built up within me and stuff like that, then do some clearing and stuff, and then I'm okay until the shit builds up again, and they just keep coming at just keep coming at me and keep messing with me until it fucking drags me back down to the lower state. I've even had times where I managed to. I've had I've had times where I even managed to achieve and to hold on to a higher state of consciousness even while I was still drinking at the time. It's because I was getting out in nature and getting away from things that were trying to fuck with me. Just spending more time to myself. I used to go to this park all the time to do this and walk around in the trails and sit by the river and things like that. And sometimes I'd take my shoes off and walk around barefoot, stuff like that. And some sun gazing at times, etc. Well, before the sun, I'm talking years ago, back when the sun was the sun and not some weird fucking, I don't know what. Anyways, yeah. But, yeah, I'd get into higher state of consciousness, Another time I was in, a higher state of consciousness for a while, I don't know, a few weeks or a month or a little more or something like that. And I was going to the park frequently and all that stuff, and to get out in nature and stuff like that. And I go down. Well, there's this one place that I would go that was I kind of thought it was my own little secret spot or something, where when the river is low enough, you can walk down this narrow path between the river and the shoreline when the water level is low enough, and you can get there. There's this tree that had this cool canopy, and there's this root that comes out from the tree that's almost perfect, like a bench, perfect to sit on, and you're sitting kind of over on top of the river there on this root that's like a bench. And this tree's got these vines growing up it, and it's got this cool canopy, and when the sun hits the water at the right time of day, the ripples of the water and the sun reflect off of it up into the canopy of this tree, and it puts on this really fucking magical kind of light show under there, right? And that was one of the places I would go. It was totally freaking magical. It was like some fucking, you ever seen the movie Legend or whatever? It was straight up a magic place that one of the places I would go. And then that got ruined. It's somebody, I don't know, somebody went there and tore down, I don't know, broke off a branch. You could tell somebody had thrown a rope over something and fucking broke one of the branches down off of the thing, and it kind of ruined the whole effect. I did have some magical experiences there, I remember I was sitting there one day and this big freaking, I forget the name of the fish. It's a huge, really huge fish. This fish swam by almost close enough to where, if I had been holding a little short spear or something, I could have, just speared this thing. I almost could have reached out and grabbed it and swam right in front of me, almost close enough to reach, almost. I forget the type of fish. I forget what it's called at the moment. Kind of having a brain fart on that. but it kind of looked like a Holstein cow. It was like black and white, and it was like this thing was like it must have been about 4 foot long or something. Maybe yeah, 4 or 4.5 feet long. Big, huge sucker. He swam right up there and just kind of hung out in front of me for a minute and swam off. That was cool. So, anyways, then one day I go down there, not to that spot because that spot got ruined. I started going to this other part where I'd walk and I'd go by the river. And one day I get there and there's like these 5 like military attack drones. And it's weird. Like the reason I know what they were is, and it's weird how all this stuff lines up. But like I was on Facebook and had this dude Luke Rudkowski or whatever in the Facebook feed, and he posted this drone identification chart, and I just it's like, oh, that's interesting. I downloaded the thing, and then not too long after that, I go to the park and I see these freaking drones. So I look at the picture on the phone and his Facebook post, and I like drone identification chart. I'm like, look at the picture, look up, look at the picture, look up, and I'm like, yeah, it's like some kind of military attack drones. There's like 5 of them flying around in a circle over my head. I'm not kidding, dude. That's yeah. Like, whoa, you know. Got woke up like a couple days ago. A couple Apaches fucking flying over low altitude right over my apartment window. Yeah, like, dude, I'm not even kidding. Like the type of stuff I see when I'm out, just trying to make a living. The when things are like messing with me and shit, end up getting mobbed everywhere I go. Places I go, it'll be like nowhere to park, huge crowds, everything going wrong, weird delays with the order pickups, and all these same cars like follow me around everywhere. Weird license plate, messages in the license plates and stuff like that. And like I had a day, a few times, like there's these. Oh, and this is another weird thing. There's this house, but here's the weird thing. That house is not always there because I've driven down that street a lot of times making deliveries, and sometimes that house is there, and sometimes it's not. But anyways, there's these somebody in has these military vehicles, and I don't know, like an old art. He's got numerous military vehicles, and they're fucking armed up. And sometimes I'll see these military vehicles driving down the street. He's got I've seen sometimes I see the dude in a Jeep. He'll pull up when I'm picking up an order or some shit, or at a restaurant. The guys pull up in a fucking Jeep with a fucking M60 mounted on it. And there's another one where there's more than one. I was followed by 2 of them one day. There's these 2 military, 2 army type, trucks, like the troop transport, type of. You know, like the shit they carry gear and troop transport type of shit. They got fucking 50 caliber machine guns mounted on top of them, dude. Like straight up. No shit. I don't know what the fucking deal is with that. But like that's the level of weird crazy shit that goes on in my a lot of weird shit. I mean, and it's a lot. It's been difficult for me to deal with, and it just it'll go on and on and on, where it gets to the point where I don't feel like I can get anything done because there's just so much fucking bullshit fucking with me, and I have to go out like. It takes a lot of fucking courage to go out and even just go and try to do anything a lot of the time because the kind of shit that I face almost on a daily basis. Except on, you know, rare occasions where I actually have some good days or whatever. It's mostly days where everything is going crazy and there's all kinds of weird shit and I have to face all kinds of weird dangers and threats around me all the time. I mean, I'll go to get in my car and there's some psycho fucking shouting and being belligerent and stuff standing in between me and my car, and I have to just like have the courage to just walk past the person and fucking get in my car and go, or be someone shouting at me from a distance or something, or you know, just crazy shit, you know. Somebody walking down the street with a fucking you know, machete strapped to their back acting psycho or whatever. I go in to pick up an order from McDonald's or something and there'll be some fucking crazy psychotic looking fucking tweaker with like a fucking hatchet in their, you know, tucked in their belt or a big fucking huge knife on them. I'll go to pick up a soda from the, you know, convenience store. There'll be somebody, you know, look like they're high on meth or whatever with a gun strapped to their fucking hip, you know. Like, that's the kind of shit that I deal with, man. Like, almost every day when I'm going out doing this shit. I'll go make deliveries and there'll be, like, big, huge dogs standing there fucking, like, snapping at, you know, or sneaking up behind me. Usually I'm pretty good with dogs, and most dogs like me, you know. The only time I have problems, the only time I really have issues with dogs is if they like sneak up or like jump out of somewhere suddenly and they startle me. The dog thinks that I'm afraid of it because I was startled, and my reaction to being startled startles them, which makes them behave aggressively. That's the only time I have an issue with the dogs. pretty much. Mm-hmm. It's like if we startle each other. uh, there are some dogs that just kind of get together and form up packs that just kind of run wild and stuff. People don't watch the dogs, and those ones can get aggressive and try to be bullies and stuff like that. But you just can't let them smell fear. I don't know. You gotta. I don't know. So yeah, me talking about a lot of weird, crazy shit, you know? And as far as like Mandela effect type of stuff, God, there's so many. That I could go on forever with the freaking changes in that. I mean, there's most. I don't even spend that much time anymore even trying to look for videos people talking about the Mandela effect anymore because almost nobody ever talks about like the real fucking shit. They're just regurgitating stupid shit like, oh, I got a new Mandela effect, guys. Oh, the part of this thing in this movie changed, or you know, what the way this word is spelt changed, or you know, it's all this same fucking shit. Oh, the Berenstain Bears added another letter, or you know, it's all that they're just stuck on that kind of shit, and they're not talking about like usually not talking about more intense kind of shit. That's like the sort of shit I deal with. Like I've seen people talk about the real shit, but mostly they don't talk about the real shit that they're experiencing in their life. Like, oh look, my front door is a different color, or oh look, you know, I had a red car and now it's blue. What the fuck, right? Or you know, or you know where they're like, yeah, my neighbor suddenly a different person, or you know, this guy I know that I went to his funeral and he died 5 years ago, and I saw him at the store yesterday. You know, that kind of shit, right? Like the intense shit. Or, guys, this tree was not there. It just appeared in my yard. I've never seen it before, and I've lived here for 20 years. You know, that kind of shit. You know, that's the sort of shit I want to hear about. But people don't talk about that shit mostly. You know, I remember there's this one guy that talked about all kinds of stuff like that, you know, early on when people were talking about the Mandela effect. And I don't even know what happened to his channel. It's like he just disappeared. He was talking about like how, you know, he was like a taxi driver or something, right? So he drives all over the place, you know, kind of similar to being a delivery driver, you know. So he knows the whole area really well, and he'd see like new buildings pop up out of nowhere, and said a whole trailer park just disappeared, and there's like a hotel in its place that they said had been there for years, and yeah, that kind of stuff. That's that gets this interesting. I don't give a fuck about how you know, I'm moved past stuff like, oh, there's a new Mandanimal, or oh, there's a, you know, I mean that stuff's kind of interesting, but it's just kind of like it's nothing compared to like the bigger shit. Like guys, you see that house that they're building right there that they're just newly constructing? That's the same house that actually was an old house that's been there for the last 30 years. I've driven past it multiple times a week. And then one day there was no house there, and now they're building the same house, right? Or, you know, guys, that tree, you see that little tree that's like about as tall as me? It's just a little baby tree. That thing was like 800 feet tall last week. Or you see that old beat up wooden fence that's falling apart there in my neighbor's front yard there? Yeah. That thing was like brand new, like a couple of weeks ago, right? You see what I'm, yeah, that kind of stuff, right? That's the interesting shit, you know. That's I don't know, some of the shit I'll see like vehicles that I've never seen before in my life, you know, and a lot of the stuff that changes all the time. There's so many different like government vehicles and stuff like I don't know, shit, stuff that changes like big time. pretty frequently would be like the sound of sirens changes, uh, garbage trucks, city vehicles, police type vehicles, so on and so forth, fire trucks, all that kind of shit. Like those, I'll see different things like I'll see a yellow, all the fire trucks are red, and then I'll see a yellow fire truck or something, shit like a different day or something or I'll see these vehicles that I've never seen before in my life, like what the fuck is that? Never seen them, never heard of them. I'll just be out there on the road and like, what the hell? No, but that's all the time though. It's like all the time, man. I mean, when I was doing DoorDash, there was all kinds of weird shit going on with just the day to day of doing DoorDash. Real weird fucking shit, I mean, yeah, like, yeah, I was getting followed around, and there'd be the same fucking cars, the same license plates and shit, and weird license plate, like messages in the license plates and stuff like that. And it'd be the same kind of names too, right? Like, but I'd be delivering to addresses with similar numbers and street names, but in different locations all across town. Or like the same name, similar sounding address, but it's way the fuck across town from where I thought it was gonna, because it's like a different place. You know what I mean? Or like, and another thing is like there's this like God and the devil kind of shit going on. That's a theme, you know, that I was seeing. Is that like on days when things were going good, and I was like making good money and getting good tips and everything going well. There'd be like turn on the radio, it'd be like going up to the spirit in the sky. You know, gonna go when I die. It'd be like following some pickup truck that or car or something with 316 in the fucking license plate delivering food to 315 addresses and 317 addresses all day long, or houses that are across the street from a 316 house or next door to one or whatever, and just all day long it'd be people like names like, all like biblical Bible names and shit like that, Joshua, Jacob, Matthew, on and on, like that. And then the other time when shit's not going well, all of a sudden it's like fucking Damien or, order popping up the, offer for $6.66, to deliver to 667, and some shit like that, you know what I mean, or 665, or or you show up, or you just show up at some apartment complex and there's a fucking car parked out front of the place, the 666 license plate, or shit like that, and the fucking you turn on the radio and it's like fucking highway to hell, on a highway to hell, that's the kind of shit I could deal with like all the fucking time, man. All the fucking time. It just goes on and on and on, man. On and on and on. They fuck with all kinds of shit, dude. One of the latest things, like the fucking the DoorDash changed, so I can't even go fucking do the damn deliveries for DoorDash anymore because of their fucking stupid Dasher rewards program. Fucking bullshit switched over from the top Dasher thing. It's impossible to keep a fucking 80% acceptance rating without totally fucking yourself over constantly. Yeah. Hard enough trying to keep it 70, fucking screwing yourself and losing money by even keeping it up at 70. So I switched to doing like Walmart Spark, but that's a fucking pain in the ass too. I mean, I don't. And I mean, I've got Uber Eats and Shipt Shopper, Roadie. I could onboard with freaking Amazon Flex, but the only issue with that is it's like there's, I don't know, all the shit that has like specific zones that they want to lock you into uh, sucks, because like a lot of times it's not in the zone, the area that I'm in, so like I'd have to drive a long ways away to even go do any of the fucking shit, because they only want to give you orders for this specific town or this specific whatever, you know. I don't want to fucking have to deal with that shit. I want something where I can do deliveries here, there, and everywhere, you know. That's what I liked about like DoorDash and Uber Eats and stuff, is that, and I guess Instacart, if you can ever get approved. Of course, they don't want to approve you if you're in a zone that they whatever, right? But you could just lie about your zone or whatever, and then once you're approved, you can do Instacart anywhere. That's from what I hear. So that's fucking stupid, right? And Grubhub is one of those things where I would have had to go to a different town to do Grubhub orders, because they wouldn't send orders to the fucking town that I'm living in, even though Grubhub fucking delivers, you know, people deliver here, but they want to stick you with this town or that town, this zone or that zone. That shit's fucked, you know, and most of the goddamn apps are like that. Want to keep you fucking trapped, you know. Now I've got a number. That's the way Shipt Shopper is though, and I'm actually signed up for that. I've even got the card and everything. But I'd have to drive like fucking, I don't know, 40, 50 miles away to go make fucking deliveries to even do that. But I did finish the sign up process and did all that. I'm trying to get fucking Roadie working, but finished getting Roadie set up, but I've called support, I've sent messages to support numerous times, and I have like numerous times over multiple months trying to tell them, hey, I have a different phone number, so I can't even log into the fucking app to finish getting it set up properly, because it keeps trying to text a phone that I haven't even had that phone number in like a year or some shit, you know. I haven't even, let's send your verification, even though I have my username and password and everything. I can't fucking log in because they want to send a verification code to a phone that I don't fucking have, you know. For your security, we're going to send a verification code to some complete stranger that now probably has your old phone number. Right, that sounds like a great security method. Mm-hmm. It's for your security. You know, everything in this place is set up to like fucking track you and to keep you stuck. They want you to be stuck. The same address, the same town, same phone number. You know, same. Stuck. You know, that's what they want. You know, and I keep fucking track of you, keep you stuck. Mm-hmm. And for years, I would change my phone number as often as I fucking could, you know, because I don't want, people end up getting your phone number and one way or the other, and you don't want all these people to have your fucking phone number, you know. I think if I was rich or something, I'd just have a bunch of fucking burner phones or some shit. Or there are some fairly secure types of phones. I know about them. I know about the kinds of, like, the a way to have your phone set up almost like a super spy or something. But it just takes a lot of money, or it takes a lot of effort on your part. I mean, I suppose I could find out some model phone that I can uh, I have swapped out a bootloader on unlock my phone. I forget what it's called. You gotta install a custom ROM onto a phone, and then if you can get a SIM card that'll work on a phone with a custom ROM, then you can get rid of a lot of shit, or kind of de-Google your shit and have a lot of useful tools and stuff like that too. But yeah. I know about a lot of the, like, pen tester shit, hacker shit, but I haven't practiced or had the gear for a long time. I kind of wish I would have bought, like, one of the good pen tester kits from, like, Hack 5 or some shit back in years ago when I had the money. I could have done it. It was kind of spendy though. That'd be cool. I wouldn't mind having a rubber ducky and some other like that, all that shit. Port spoofers and rubber duckies and fucking so on and so forth and on, Eh, yeah, I don't know. Maybe there'd be money to be made legitimately, as pen tester kind of thing. I don't know. Yeah, I could do that. I know about the gear, and I mean, it's be easy to learn and stuff like that. It's certainly something I could figure out. I know enough to where I could figure out. I used to be a little bit of a hacker or something back when I was a teenager and stuff, but preteen and teenager. But it was like pretty. I don't know. Thought it was cool when I was younger. All that movie Hackers and stuff, and war games and all that. I thought it was cool, but I was kind of a little computer nerd when I was younger. But now I kind of fucking hate technology because I see how it's played a huge role in fucking destroying the planet, basically, and destroying our fucking lives. I would wish I'd been like born Amish or something, so I just could have lived a more pure and better life or something, you know, more natural life. I don't know, man. I think it would be very difficult to convert. Plus, I don't know if I would agree with all their, you know, religiosity and their viewpoints and perspectives on everything or anything. You know, it's kind of a conforming type of a deal, you know. But plus, I've been around like all this corruption for so long. I think it'd be difficult to be able to conform to their ways or to learn it. And, I mean, I grew up around a lot of kids that were, you know, farmers and you know, dads were loggers and you know all that kind of stuff. But I didn't grow up on a farm. I grew up near a bunch of farms, and farmers and stuff like that, but not on a farm. You know, I wasn't waking up at 5 in the morning to fucking milk the cows and so on and so forth. You know, it would take a lot to be able to. I don't know. I did wake up kind of early a lot of time because the neighbors had crows and stuff. Or, yeah, I'm sorry. You know, chickens. They had roosters that would crow in the morning and wake me up. I'm telling you, man, I have a whole lot of supernatural type of experiences that go on pretty much damn near on a daily basis. Like this whole place is just it's fucking with me. Like, and then there's something that seems good, like a I don't know God type of thing or something. And mostly that shows up in mild ways nowadays, whereas in the old days it was more prominent. Like I don't know, for instance, yesterday the more kind of mild ways that it showed itself in my life was that just a few things like I saw some 316 license plates in a couple places. Sometimes I'll have a day where I'm like there's like this good presence, and I'll see all these signs of this good presence, and then all of a sudden it shifts over, and now it's like dark, and now it's the 666s, and it's the Highway to Hell going on in the radio. That's the one that really plays constantly, Highway to Hell. Yeah, but there's other ones. What other one? Well, I don't know. Like I went out today to go do my laundry and some grocery shopping. Part of me had thought that I should try to make some money at some point, but when it started out, I went out that it wasn't too bad out. Like the traffic seemed kind of somewhat chill at first, but it wasn't. And I was seeing some 316s, and I went into this vape shop at one point, and well, I don't know. It started to get dark. I go into this vape shop to try and get some change for a 20 because I didn't want to get $20 worth of quarters for the machine laundry place, and and the fucking got a radio playing. They're just playing fucking Raiden 2, you know. Angels on the sideline, puzzled and confused. Why did Father give these humans free will? Now they're all confused. Monkey killing, monkey, oh, pieces of the ground. You know, silly monkeys give them cloak thumbs, they forge a blade, cut their brothers down. Yeah. That I fucking laughed, but when I walked in, that was playing. I started fucking laughing for it, like shit. Okay. Mm-hmm. I just listened to it earlier, you know. When I pulled in, there was almost all parking spots around. Seemed like a whole lot of parking spots available. Things weren't crowded. But then shortly after, the place was just mobbed, and there was like every parking spot was taken. And I didn't even see that many people around or people going in and out of stores or doing anything. But there were just suddenly a bunch of cars there, like more cars than there were people there. It's fucking crazy. And I took off down the road, and there was so much traffic everywhere. It's crazy. I remember when I pulled out after I finished my laundry and I did and grocery shopping, and I was gonna go try to head over to the dollar store because I wanted to get toilet paper that wasn't so ridiculously overpriced. Because like you can get dollar stores your best bet for TV, man. Yeah, straight up. Or sandwich bags, trash bags. Yeah. Cleaning supplies, air freshener, like it's not deodorant, disposable razors, you know, soaps, you know, shampoo, conditioner, all that. It's the best place for like a lot of stuff like that. Anyways, so I go in there, grab some stuff. I get back to the apartment, and I'd had to poop for like probably an hour or more. I managed to hold it the whole time while I was doing all that shit. Brought some of my stuff inside and straight to the toilet, and then put some brushes away, then went out, a couple more loads of stuff, and then I just sat around and ranted for a while, and then went out and fucking grabbed the rest of the shit. Most of it. I still haven't brought in my Dr. Pepper. Bought like a 12 pack of big plastic bottles of Dr. Pepper from Walmart. Yeah. I don't know, man. Well, this place drives me crazy all the time, man. I don't know what to do. I'm to the point where I think I gotta just get out of here. Go to some other state. Try and find somewhere more chill. Somewhere where I mean, this place just seems like it's. I mean, for lack of better terms, I feel like I'm in like a hellscape here in this place. I think pretty much most of this whole state. There's pockets of good people and stuff here, but I can't afford to live around them because they all pretty much most of them live out in the country and acres and acres of farmland and stuff like that, and it's not like you can go rent a fucking place to live next door to them or anything. It's not a thing. You gotta have like be basically a millionaire or something to go live at a place like that. cities are fucking hellscapes, basically. And then small towns and shit around here now are just basically hellscapes. Fucking like demons everywhere, basically, for lack of a better term. I don't know, demons, archons, people controlled by the Flyer's mind, whatever. You know, just everywhere, you know? I haven't been able to get away from those fucking type of people. Look, I not pretty much not it's I've been surrounded by that kind of people pretty much since I was like 16. And to some extent they were around even before that, but there was more, good as far as like a balanced good and evil influences around me in my life. I think I had a lot more good around me, but there was definitely evil influences and stuff messing with me when I was younger too. But there was also good. There was more good, and just over the years, it's got to where the good fucking fell away more and more and more, to where it's almost exclusively evil everywhere, mostly. And it kind of breaks my heart and makes me miserable all the time. I wish that I would have just left this place. I don't remember how many months ago it was, but there was a time when I thought I wasn't going to be able to make the rent. I was starting to pack, and I pretty much really thought I was just going to leave and take off down the road. And when I come to like accept that, I suddenly and that was what I was going to do. And I meant it. I felt excited, like I was looking forward to just being done with this place and just taking off down the road. And then my dad talked me out of it, and I ended up working harder, and I ended up being able to pay the bills. Like, things just gone wrong in my life. Like, every time I've managed to get some money, like, whether if I sell something, or I do really good and make some good money, or when I inherited money, or when if my dad sends me something to help me out or something, birthday or Christmas or whatever the fuck it is, right? It's like immediately something goes wrong and that money's gone, just disappeared. Dad sends me $500 for Christmas to help me out. He's proud of me getting into an apartment. Bam, my rear shocks blow out on the car. I have to have them replaced. $500, right? Send me somebody to help me out because they're worried about me randomly. I didn't know that was going to happen. I was like, great. And then, very next day, fucking tire blows out. Have to go buy new tires for $500. Yeah, it's the same. Yeah, that's what happened. Yeah. Or I'll go out and make $100 or something, doing deliveries or something, and then my car battery's fucking dead, and I have to go buy a new car battery for $100 or $120 or something. That's what happened. Or I'll go out and work and a few days make $200-300 or something, and then all of a sudden, some unexpected bill pops up, and I have to fucking watch all that money disappear just like that. That's what happens over and over and over and over again. Every time I get money, and I tried it, and when I had a lot more money, I was getting hit with all kinds of fucking expenses just to have shelter, and I couldn't get into any fucking apartments I tried to apply for. I couldn't fucking even get anyone to answer my fucking calls or to answer a door or answer any fucking questions. But when I was trying to buy, I was trying to get a hold of real estate agents, trying to buy a fucking house. I couldn't even, because there were ones in other states. And I was just trying to ask basic questions. They wouldn't answer any of them. I'd have to. And when it came to like, if I tried to get mobile homes, there was all sorts of mobile homes that were empty, no one in, and looked like little fixer-uppers I was trying to buy. And any of them I couldn't. I couldn't get anyone to get in touch with me or to sell it to me, or I'd call up and have the money ready to buy a place, and they'd say, "Oh, sorry, we just sold that fucking like an hour ago," or some shit. I mean, literally, like nothing would work out. Nothing worked out right for me. Like, even like the car that I have now, I actually had wanted one of those for like a year or more, but I couldn't. And it's super common car. They're all over the place, but I couldn't find one that I could afford at all. Like or that I was willing to spend that much on. For And every time I would find one and talk to someone about wanting to buy it, like all of a sudden, when I'm ready to buy it, they'd already sold it or just disappeared, whatever, right? Or they decided to keep it or some shit like that. It was the same sort of shit that would happen when I was trying to buy mobile homes. Everything just fucking fell through. Everything fell apart. I almost had income-based fucking housing, and that fucking fell through at the last second. Like everything I tried to do. When I tried to get into a motel with a cheaper rate, to where I would have only had to spend like $200 a week or something. That fell through, and I drove by there to try and get a hold of it. There's no one there to even answer the door. No one answering the phone. It went from being a place that had like 20 fucking rooms or something to having like 3 rooms. Because it's like literally supernaturally transformed. I shit you not, dude. Some of the trailers that I was trying to buy, I drove back there, you go back trying to be on doors and the fucking trailers weren't even there anymore. Like, they're different trailers and they're like, what the? It's like, oh, that doesn't exist now because you wanted it. Mm-hmm. So just like basically this universe of the archons or whatever the hell in this world, man, they just fucking made it impossible for me to get into a decent living situation where I would still have money left over to invest in like bettering my life and shit like that, to be able to cover the bills for. I mean, like if I could have just got into a decent like house to rent, even if it was like way more expensive than it is here, even if it was like 1,000 or 1,200 a month or 15, whatever it would have been. I could have. It would have been a hell of a lot cheaper. Like 1,500 a month would have been a hell of a lot cheaper than fucking 3,000 a month that I was fucking spending at the goddamn hotel. you know. At the time, there were fucking houses I could have rented for 1,200, but no one rented the fucking shit to me, even though I had fucking almost 50 G's in the bank. You could have paid 1,200 a month out of that. But I would have had fucking shit covered, I could have. I mean, I could have had a house that I was renting. And if I had been doing like DoorDash even as long as I had now, I could be sitting here with fucking, I don't know, $25,000, $30,000, $40,000 left or something in a savings account or some shit, and still have my bills paid and just be fucking all fine and dandy, everything, Yeah. But everything I tried to do just fucking went to shit, fell apart, and like I just couldn't get a fucking right. I've always like pushed into a position where I don't want to be, where I have to be somewhere I don't want to be because it's the only option available to me. And it didn't matter if I had fucking money or not. Like, I. When I had all that money, I couldn't get shit. And the situation would always be set up in a way to where I was just screwed, and I couldn't fucking even find a place where I could lay my head and where I could have a place to sleep, a place to fucking rest without having to spend fucking thousands of dollars a month and piss away all that fucking money just for goddamn basic shelter, I should have just fucking lived in my goddamn car. Or something, man. I don't know. Fuck. I don't know if I could go back fucking 2, 3. If I could go back to the time when I moved out of this place, out of my mom, headed to that motel, I would go. I would have just, yeah. If I could go back there, I would obviously. I mean, dude, I was trying to sign up for. I'd been trying to sign up for DoorDash for fucking years, but every time I tried to sign up, it wouldn't fucking work. The goddamn app wouldn't work. The sign up form on the fucking website wouldn't fucking work. I just couldn't get it to fucking work until the last goddamn minute when almost all my motherfucking money was gone. All of a sudden, it fucking worked. You know. Like right now that I'm completely fat fucking broke, basically. Oh, good. Now I can make money and be a slave to have basic shelter. When I could have been fucking doing that the whole fucking time and still had fucking, 40, 50 goddamn grand left in my fucking bank. I went and bought a fucking house or something, God damn it. Now there's decent houses. I've seen some places. There are houses in some other states that you can sometimes find places that are not that bad that like don't even need that much fixing up that are only like fucking 25 grand or 20 grand or some shit, 15, 20 grand. I could have fucking bought shit, man. For less. Damn it, man. Around here, a fucking house like that would be like goddamn upwards of $500,000 or some shit, The fucking apartment I'm living in now, man, it wouldn't be that surprising to me if the fucking foundation of the second floor fell out from under and just collapsed and fell to the fucking ground or something, dude. It's like old and falling apart. I don't know, dude. I just I just want to have a fucking home and not have to be trapped around all this darkness in the city and shit like that. I like to be around kind, decent, good fucking people that, and conscious people. I mean, this place is insane. I'm not saying there aren't nice people around here. There's nice people around here. But they're fucking for the most part, they're fucking unconscious, They're unconscious. They might be nice and, for pleasant, kind people and stuff like that. But they're unconscious. So you can't really make a real connection with those people because it's just like, yeah, some of the totally unconscious people are super nice, decent people and pleasant enough to be around and talk to and stuff like that, but they're just, lights are on but nobody's home kind of. Like, I don't know, man, I can't fucking blame some people because, like, I don't know, dude. It would take somebody, a normal person, it would take them years of study, like many years of study to even come remotely close to knowing the shit that I know, like, and study wouldn't be enough. Like, I haven't just studied a lot of shit. I have a lot of personal experience and shit, It's not like study and research and videos on the internet. It's personal fucking hands-on fucking experience and shit, I mean, there's people that study a lot of stuff, that know a lot of stuff, but, like, difference between me and them is, like, it's like difference between somebody who's, I don't know, maybe played some Flight Simulator video game and watched YouTube videos about airplanes and flying and stuff like that, versus somebody who's an experienced pilot or something, It's just like, somebody who's actually when they're done that, saying that, experienced it, or somebody that, or the difference between somebody who, is thinks that Bigfoot is cool and has stickers about Bigfoot and I want to believe, versus somebody who's actually fucking seen a Bigfoot in person, like, yeah. This guy Bill says he fucking, is up. I'll tell you about the experience he said he told me about. One of the experiences he told me about. It was up there with Nathan, and they had these beers or whatever, and it had like a 6-pack, and he said that they had drank a few of them, and left them in the car or in the trunk or something, and okay, I'm trying to remember exactly how the story went. He said that they walked down the trails in the woods, and he wanted to go take a piss next to a tree, and he looked up and he saw that there was this like hairy fucking leg, and he said he pissed on the Bigfoot's foot, and they took off out of there. I don't know. And another part of the story, he said that the couple beers they had left in the 6-pack, that the whole 6-pack had disappeared and they couldn't find it, and then they went walking off in the woods or something, and they came back and the 6-pack was back there, but it was completely full, like like brand new 6-pack, like the ones they drank, was like as though they had drank them or something, like they were back. Mm-hmm. I haven't figured out that trick yet. I've tried that. I've tried to manifest like full beers in the fridge when I drank all it. Hasn't worked out. Uh, Not usually. Very, very rarely. Uh, Coincidental. I don't know. No, it's just there's a lot of weird shit that goes on in this place. I think it adds up, it builds up, and a lot of things add up. It ends up driving me fucking nuts. It it's hard to deal with, to put up with. It's really hard to put up with, and I have to just fucking get away from it all. I have to get away from it all. In order to find any peace of mind and spirit. But then when I do, I end up having to go back out there too soon because I have to make that money in order to pay bills and stuff like that. I have to go out in the world. I have to go do things. I have to go do my laundry, or I have to go get groceries, or I have to, whatever, right? Or I have to go buy water, or I have to go work to make some money or something. And I go out there in the world, and the world just throws mountains of fucking shit at me, and mountains of crazy at me persistently, and I can't stand it. Like sometimes I've been managing to be able to take it and to deal with it, and consistent, persistent, and managing to push forward through it for a few days. I don't know, sometimes 3, 4, 5 days in a row or something. And I'll manage to do that, and I just drive through it. But then eventually I just it's just too much. It gets to me at crack, and I just can't fucking take it anymore. And it's getting to be more and more and more to where I felt like I just can't take this anymore. I can't do this anymore. And I don't know what to do. I mean, maybe the only thing I can do is just live in the fucking car. You know, another thing I'll give you as an example is like, I didn't just look for homes and stuff like that. as the money started to get lower, I was looking all around trying to find like a camper van or something, so I didn't have to blow so much money in a fucking motel. I thought I'd move into a van. I couldn't find any fucking vans I could afford because like the only stuff that was available was either complete trash with like a ridiculous amount of miles on it, or just fucking just ridiculous. I mean, I should be able to look for a minivan. I started looking for minivans because I thought like for a while now I've had this idea of what would be cool like for a minivan that I figured I'd build like a kind of like a box out of plywood. And I'd use some like metal U-joints and stuff and some hinges, and I'd build a box with a hasp and a padlock, and I could use that as like a lockbox to store stuff in, and then I could put my freaking mattress on top of it. I'd store a bunch of stuff underneath the mattress in the freaking back of the minivan, take all the rear seats out and stuff. I'd have like a bed back there. I've got curtains already that I could put up in a van, so I could have the whole back covered up and blackout curtains around. I could set up some LED, strip lights, 12-volt power, have a little power bank, a little 12-volt fan, cool lights, and whatever, and I could have somewhere they could sleep, and maybe I could even get some kind of camp toilet to have in there for emergencies if I had to go or something. Just throw some food in there, have a little butane camp stove, and like maybe I could live in a minivan and then go out and make deliveries out of that, and I wouldn't have to pay all that money for rent. I could actually start saving up money. I really don't like the idea of sleeping in a car. I don't know. I mean, I'm like 6'3", I'm like 6'3", 200, and I don't know how much I weigh right now. I'd normally be about 220, but I think I might be lighter now. I'm probably like 190 or 200 now, I don't know. For years, I was like around 220. Sometimes I've even been up heavier than that. I think the heaviest I ever was like close to 240 or something. I don't know, man. I gotta do something different, man. I don't know how I'm gonna manage. I mean, this things are being made way too difficult for me. It's just this world doesn't want to let me fucking live. Doesn't want to let me succeed. Doesn't want to let me have these survive. It's trying to take everything from me. To give you another example of that, when I lost my wallet and somebody stole all my fucking cards and everything out of it, and I was quick thinking enough to cancel the cards and report them, lost or stolen, so that I got to order new cards and everything, and I went to the store the day that I was gonna go to the storage facility to update the information so that I could, get the auto pay going for my bills for the storage facility. But most of my stuff is, like the universe was majorly fucking with me that day. Like when I went to go grab a soda in the morning before I took off to the storage facility, it was massive like traffic jam, construction blocking everything. The parking lot of the store where I happened to get the soda was blocked off, and a massive crowd in there. It took forever to get in and out of there. Had a bunch of fucking, traffic was fucking crazy. It was like hard to even get out of there without getting a fucking wreck. Then I start trying to head out, and the fucking train shows up and blocks the tracks, and I fucking start heading over and just have to avoid a construction zone after construction zone everywhere. Zigzagging through fucking side roads to try to get around construction zones around every corner. I go over heading towards the storage facility, and another fucking train blocked my way. And then a fucking semi truck stops, and I had to fucking zip around some car, truck is stuck in the middle of the fucking road. Just one thing after another, and I get there and I had fucking, I show up at the fucking storage facility, and the guy running the storage facility is just bullshitting on the phone for like fucking half hour, 45 minutes. I'm just like pissing around or waiting for this fucking guy to get off the phone so I can deal with shit. And he's trying to make me do a bunch of paperwork that I'd already fucking done. All I needed to do was change this one thing. Ended up taking like an hour and a half to do something that should have only taken like fucking 5 minutes. And that's just when I was already there at the storage facility, you know. Yeah. And afterwards, I went out and started doing DoorDash, and I was working, you know, and I was having all kinds of fucking, you know, traffic was fucking with me. Like, for a little while, stuff started to go okay and started to chill out. And then I made a delivery over on the far side of town, and I thought, hey, I'm close to this convenience store down the road. It's the only place they had Code Red Mountain Dew. So I thought I'd go get Mountain Dew, and I pull out and fucking try to merge the traffic. The traffic was fucking crazy. And this guy tried to fucking run me off the goddamn road. And he just starts fucking raiding my ass and fucking speeding. Raiding my ass when I finally managed to get out in front of him. And he almost wrecks me through the front of the motherfucking store. Like, because he was about to rear end my ass, and so I ended up having to pull into the parking lot, going way too fucking fast. My brakes almost failed. I almost ended up going to the fucking front of the store, like slamming on the brakes to get it to fucking work, because I'm having to pump them to get them to fucking work, because they're failing. And I managed to stop, got my fucking soda and got out of there, and everything was fucking crazy the rest of the day. Massive traffic, people trying to kill me. The guy basically tried to kill me. And like, I had just one thing after another, like, I'd be going trying to make a pickup or something, there'd be trains blocking my path, your construction zones pop up out of nowhere, blocking my path, just on and on and on. It was kind of like what I experienced when I first was going to inherit that money, you know? It was, there's just like, you know, with that one, I had fucking multiple cars, two different times where these, guys that look like the undead, like zombies or something, dude. Straight up, I mean, they look like The Walking Dead or something, basically. And they're driving these fucking beat up cars. Really fucking, you know, weird to see on the road, and they fucking just straight up try to kamikaze and fucking kill me when I'm in the car, you know, and I managed to avoid it, and I've had quite a few attempts in my life. I've had, pretty much just everything trying to screw me over and rob me. You can imagine. Every time I do something that, like, where I manage to save my stuff or something, you know, fix something that breaks or anything like that, like, the world fucking, like, punishes me for it, you know. I get fucked with and followed and harassed constantly. I mean, I'll just give you an example from one day. Like, I'll give you an example of some of this sort of shit that happened. Like, I'll just kind of lay out a scenario. Me driving around on the day when they're fucking with me and shit, right? This isn't a specific day. I'm gonna kind of combine some aspects. Although I have had days that have literally been this sort of, you know, but this is like the kind of shit I experience. I get up, traffic's crazy, weird construction zones popping up everywhere out of nowhere where they don't appear to actually be doing anything other than blocking me, and they seem to pop up and just roll up right out in front of, you know, like the whole fucking thing is set to fucking stop me or delay me or something, but it seems like it really fucking seems that way. And, I find ways to get around all that shit. And there'll be all these fucking cars with like 666 on the license plate, the radio starts blaring fucking highway hell. I'm trying to wait for fucking, you know, order. I go pull over in the fucking, some empty parking lot somewhere, mostly empty parking lot. And, some fucking sports car pulls into the parking lot and does cookies, you know, in the parking lot or drives crazy, fucking circling around the car and fucking speeds away, you know. I get order and I fucking pull out of the parking lot and start driving to the restaurant. Fucking some kind of fucking army truck pulls up behind me with a $50 machine gun strapped to the fucking top of it, follows me to the fucking restaurant. And you know, and then I go into the restaurant and start fucking approaching the restaurant, and there's some psycho that looks like he's hot on fucking meth with a hatchet fucking tucked in his pants, fucking standing around glaring at me, giving me a fucking like evil eye. Yeah, dude. And just on and on it goes, man. On and on, on and on and on and on it goes. Just like that, you know. I'll be trying to back out of the parking space, a sweet girl fucking, like, stumble, you know, walk in a blind spot and fucking end up almost backing into them and shit like that. Like, people come up from behind me everywhere, there's fucking, it's like people are trained to fucking, going out of the way to try to get me to fucking hit them or something, you know? And I swear, I fucking see the stuff I've seen out there. I get the feeling that a lot of people are in on this shit. Like that's what it seems like. And sometimes, some instances, I swear, it's even like old ladies and little fucking kids even seem to be fighting in on it. As fucking nuts as that sounds. I'll be out driving around just trying to make a delivery or something, and there'll be like little kids on the fucking sidewalk. I'll look in my rearview mirror, and these little fucking kids are like staring at me, like pointing at me, my car and shit. What the fuck? There was this old lady on a fucking. See these old ladies on scooters and stuff. That's you know. There's this one. I think it's delivery. Was picking up over. God. Like way over by Walmart. Like first aid kind of like I don't know, or KFC or Carl's Jr. pick up. And I see this old lady in like you know a power chair, but didn't look like it was that fast as a power chair. And they go make it literally like on the other side of town. The same fucking old lady in a power chair's over there. There's no fucking way she could go over there on that fucking thing. You know? I'll see dudes on fucking bicycles at a fucking restaurant and made a pickup up. I'll go drive 4 miles across town, make a drop off, come back to my car, pull out of the space, and that same motherfucker on bicycle's over there, fucking 4 miles away. Caught me in my fucking car. Sitting there fucking holding the fuck. I pulled up to the parking spot a couple days ago. As soon as I got here, there's some dude and a chick leaned up against the fence, staring at me. Guy's holding his smartphone up like he's filming me. And they just fucking stare at me. They just keep staring at me and staring at me. I'm like, what the fuck are these motherfuckers doing? Okay? I just get my, have my shit go inside these fuckers just like staring at me the whole fucking time. They film me with their smartphone. I'll pull up a fucking gas pump or something. There'll be some fucking weak looking fuck on a bicycle fucking filming me with their smartphone or some shit. Just like standing there fucking staring at me. Or whatever the fuck, right? What in the fuck, dude? All these fucking cars with six license plates and say 10 pentagrams and bathomets and all this shit on them. And following me around and fucking park every goddamn parking lot everywhere I fucking go. I shit you not, dude. That's what goes on, dude. It's fucking. There's so much fucking crazy shit. There's so much fucking crazy shit. I really have a question where if this shit is even be real, like this world can even be fucking real. The way this shit is, it doesn't make any motherfucking sense. No matter how you put it, no matter how you try to put this shit, it doesn't add up. Even if you want to say it's a loosh farm and or that you know we're in hell and demons are fucking like none of this no explanation I can think of makes fucking sense or explains what the fuck this shit's about. I'm not absolutely was. Ooh, that was close. I think I turned a light on and saw that. Okay. So, yeah, lots of weird shit goes on. I mean, I don't know what the fuck to do. I don't know what to do about this shit. It's so fucking weird. The sort of shit that I deal with. And I don't know. I don't know what the hell to do about it. I don't know what the fuck I can do about it. I mean, I gotta get out of here. Oh, look, it's 322. Set back down, it's 322. What time it is? See a lot of that number too. Mm-hmm. I don't know, man. It's just shit gets pretty aggravating. I mean, all this sort of stuff going on in the world, and the shit I have to deal with, and it's just, and I'm supposed to go out and do some good bullshit job, and spend all my fucking time and energy trying to make a little bit of money, so I can afford what? It just never works out for long before I'm able to have enough. Every time I start to get ahead a little bit, some shit fucking hits me and drains every damn near every less penny out of me. Until I'm just having to fucking struggle to just barely scrape by. And it keeps me fucking trapped here, basically. I think I'm just gonna have to fucking say fucking just go be homeless and live in my fucking car. I don't know. Pray to God that I could get the fuck out of here and get somewhere better where it's not like this, if that's possible. If there is anywhere where it's not like this. There's somebody trying to convince me that it's not like this. Once you get out of this side of the country or whatever, it starts to get better. You get to the red states or something. I don't know, man. As far as the political elite goes, I think people on both sides of the political spectrum are delusional. It's just a matter of to what degree they're delusional and what type of delusions they have. Obviously the blue side or whatever is more not so, basically, in a sense, but it's all fucking, all of this basically pro-authoritarian, kind of brainwash, like, unconscious shit, basically. But I don't know, man. Wow, it's after this. So it's like 3 fucking hours or something.